Michael, I can say a lot of things about 2020. I can say I have a lot of adjectives inside of me when you ask about my feelings about this year. There are a lot of fiery words come to mind.
It's true.
But when it comes to video game news, the word is eventful. I swear to God, I'm not doing this. It's not like I'm trying to make this into a news-only show, but like they just won't fucking stop.
They won't.
And do you know what else? I realized that as we are recording this, the Tokyo Game Show is going on.
Oh my God, is that happening?
So
now?
like we're gonna miss everything from the Tokyo Game Show that has to come back next week.
I didn't even know that was happening.
Yep.
Oh fuck.
Yep. So welcome everybody to the most news-tacular news that ever news. I think it's slightly less, like we don't have as big of a well, no, that's not true. It's goddamn huge this week. It's fucking Titanic. It's enormous in all of the best ways. And yeah, we're gonna get into it here on the Rage Select Podcast with me, Jeff.
And Mike. And a lot of news.
A lot of news. I feel like we could do I feel like we don't have to go right to the news. We do have to go to the news very quickly, but have you done anything this week worth of notation? What have you been up to this week?
I'm trying to think of things that I did that I didn't already talk about on an episode or something.
Well, this
for
is
the most part,
podcast is a different animal.
Well, that's true. For the most part, I've been playing Hades and the Avengers.
Yeah, and Hades is
Those
good.
are two separate games, by the way. There's a game called Hades and the Avengers.
Hey, I was so glad to see that Hades has like a 90 on Metacritic because I'm like, it fucking deserves it.
It
like,
fucking rolls.
It's weird that I feel like I've been exposed to that game for a year and a half already, but still, I just booted it up to play with you yesterday, and I'm like, oh, fuck, they added so much. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that when we see an early access game a lot of times, we're like, wow, this is going to be great when they add a bunch more features and finish it, and then 3 days later, they're like, done? And you're like, no, wait. What? No, it had potential, but you needed a lot more work. And they're like, nope, it's out. 1.0.
It's completely done. What would you do? We added a hat.
Yep. We put a different shader on it.
Yeah.
There you go. It's
just like small things, and that happens a lot in our ecosystem of Steam early access, Epic early access games. But Hades went fucking above and beyond with how much shit they added. There are whole new gods. There are whole new shop people. There are whole new just little shop things.
So many mechanics.
Yeah,
so many mechanics galore.
It's fucking great. It's magical.
It's so good. Yeah. I mean, if you haven't played Hades, I recommend playing Hades. And now it's on Steam as well as Epic.
Yes.
And the Switch. It's not on the other consoles though yet,
that
right?
I know of,
it's on PS4, Xbox One.
And it's only like $25 brand new.
Yeah.
And I think at the moment Nintendo still has a sale for it for 20% off.
Okay.
At the moment.
That's rock solid, man. I was like, I'm not going to play that. I got 13 Sentinels to play. And then I was like, oh, right. This is like 20 minutes a run. I don't have to like read a billion words. And it's like so goddamn charming with such good music and art and like unlocks and shit.
Like Goose Game, it's the indie game that's like going to be in my top, like guaranteed.
I can see that. Year. I can see that. I don't know. It's going to have to go up against hardcore mecha for me, but
yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
But I'm the only person apparently who ever played hardcore mecha. Is going to have to go up against fucking spy ass solitaire that's coming out later this month. Got your favorite
podcast.
We will get to spy solitaire later in this podcast. Well, I've already mentioned a bunch of times, but I don't care because Rage Select could also be called the Jeff Repeats Himself show because it's been 8 years and I've just been, there's eras. There's like Jeff talks about how easy Dark Souls is era, or like Jeff is strangely fascinated by nostalgia, or like Jeff is really mad about everything all the time. Like
that's true.
Here's the Jeff hates Avengers era, and here's the like it was fine Avengers era of Jeff from Rage Select. But no, I am now like 2.5 seasons into Food Wars, Shokugeki, whatever. Everybody should watch Food Wars.
That's really good, guys.
Everybody should watch Food Wars.
Do not watch it in front of your mother, though.
Oh, yes. Do not watch it in front of, it is the most delicious show in all of the ways that word is a word. Yes. In the Vavitch where the devil asks that lady if she wants to live deliciously, it's also delicious like that.
Yeah.
because when the people eat the super good food, in their minds, all their clothes come off and they have an orgasm, and it happens all the time.
And it happens to every sex.
It happens all the time to not just women, men as well. There's a guy in the, I don't know how far you got in it, but like they get like a dormitory, because of course it's a fucking high school, it's Japan. And like one of the guys in the dorm that the main character lives in, he's just like kind of a unexplained nudist. Nobody like talks about it, and so he just wears this big pink apron and nothing else.
Oh my God.
And then they just show his ass. Like, not just like he turns around and there's his ass, but like it's a shot of him perking his ass to the left or the right to make a point about something he's talking about. And it happens all the time. And I love it because every so often another group will come to the house and they're just like, why is he naked? They never ask. It's never explained. They never bring it up. It's just, that's what's happening.
That's what he does.
The guy that runs the place, when he eats really good food, his shirt just comes off, and they never explain like why. It's like SCP-173. It happens off camera. It's just like he eats the food. He goes, oh. They cut to somebody else. They're like, I think he likes it. Oh my God, look! And then it goes back and his shirt's off, and then he's putting his. It's like a gi, and then he's like putting his gi back on.
Okay.
And at one point, his underwear comes off.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like,
it's fan service as hell, guys. That's what he's really trying to say.
yes, but it's not. What's weird is that it's not gross. It's not really that gross. Like, I've seen a lot more animes that are a lot more gross about their fan service.
Well, that's the thing, is that like it's not gross because of the circumstances surrounding the fan service.
Yes,
because a lot of fan service tends to be people being really gross about towards women or men or anything.
right.
Where this is just, they just really like food. and everyone has had that moment where they're like basically having an orgasm at a table.
The only time that it gets like, I feel like borderline gross, and I almost feel like this is a joke, y'all can tell me in the comments, is that one of the things that the main character has this obsession with making really disgusting food because he wants to know like what everything tastes like. So
No.
he'll just try to make something that doesn't seem like it would work. And then it's disgusting. And most of the time, it's octopus with some kind of horrible cream sauce.
Oh, yeah.
And when he makes the women eat that, then you get like
You get some
creamy
very
octopus
weird
like,
shit.
and they're screaming, ah! And they're like, it's so gross, ah! That's about as disgust as like gross as
that
it
specific
gets.
thing he says you will see in many places where it says anime clip without context.
Right.
That shows up a lot.
Yeah.
Those specific sequences.
But it's really good. It's super good.
It's really good.
It's my fifth. I'm now 5 fucking animes that I'm watching.
You're watching more anime than I am.
Yes, I'm watching Gata High School. I'm watching The Misfit King of Demon Academy. I'm watching ReZero Season 2, Fire Force Season 2, and now I'm getting through Food Wars. So.
Oh, I'm also watching Archer still.
Oh,
The
yes.
new season of Archer started. This latest one wasn't too bad either.
Is that? Oh, was there one today?
Yes,
There was one that came out yesterday.
It shows up on Hulu every Thursday.
Oh, okay. I thought it was airing on Thursdays. So,
I think it airs on Wednesday, and then it gets added. I think it's the same thing they did with What We Do in the Shadows. I think
Okay.
that's what they did as well.
that makes sense. Right. So yeah, plenty of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, no like movies, right? Or I actually
Not
feel
really, yeah.
I feel really bad for people who don't watch anime because I feel like I talk to some people and they're just like, man, there's nothing to watch. I've watched everything on every streaming show, and I'm just like, do you have Crunchyroll? I mean, you could try that. Like,
Yeah, anime is still going strong, luckily.
yeah.
But let's wait and see what some of these other ones. A lot of miniseries are starting. There's one called The Third Day that I need to start up on, which is on HBO.
I'm waiting for The Boys to finish before I do anything with that.
Oh yeah, The Boys is going on right now.
Yeah.
And I recently got some stuff on my work again, so now I have that hat that says "fuck soups" on it.
Oh, there you go.
But it's a little tight on my head, so it's one of the only reasons I've never worn it.
It's for a big ass Carl Urban head, big oversized Carl Urban head. Does Carl Urban have an oversized head?
I don't know. The hat is small though, is what I was saying.
Okay.
So I don't know if that would work on a fat, oversized Carl Urban head.
Oh, I thought. Okay, I completely my back
did
hurts.
the opposite, yeah.
My back hurts, and I'm really sleepy today. So
Do you
you'll
think his Judge
excuse
Dredd
me.
helmet is huge then?
What's that?
You think his Judge Dredd helmet was huge?
It's really, just super big.
Just super massive.
I don't know.
Fit the entirety of Sylvester Stallone in it.
I was just trying to make a big head joke. I don't really know what happened there.
I don't know where you came from on that one.
It was like where the octopus with the peanut butter on it, and that was what happened. I was just, I was assaulting people's ears with my really bad joke.
It happens.
Well, I'll tell you what else happens. Microsoft buys Bethesda. That's what happens. I did not expect that.
No one did.
I didn't expect that. All my clothes flew off and I had an orgasm. I was like, oh!
People just heard Todd Howard go, Skyrim is coming to everything again.
I have this story that's not on here. Have you heard this thing that, like, when Todd Howard got the, like, Lifetime Achievement Award at, like, one of the Game Awards or something like that, and he like thanked Microsoft, or he did something like that, and then when he got home, Microsoft created a piece of software that is tied to his Xbox account, and when he opens it up, it's just an achievement that says like Lifetime Achievement Award that gave him 1,000 gamer points.
Oh yeah, I did hear
just
about this.
for Todd Howard.
That's amazing.
Which I don't know. Maybe that's what swayed him into putting the stamp on selling Bethesda to, actually it's ZeniMax, I believe. The entirety of ZeniMax
the entirety of it, yeah.
got sold to Microsoft for $7.5 billion.
That's more than Disney paid for Star Wars, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
Well, maybe they'll run it into the ground like that. No, it's sorry. As another octopus joke. I'm not doing that one. So anyway, for anybody who hasn't, like, their mind is still wobbling, this means that Microsoft now owns The Elder Scrolls, Prey, Doom, Quake, like Skyrim, Starfield,
a lot of stuff.
Wolfenstein. I mean, they own Arcane, so they own Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Studios. This is huge.
It's massive, guys.
This is Titanic. Like, if they had done this like at the beginning of this console generation, it would have been a much tighter race.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like, if think of all the games that have come out of Bethesda in this current generation, that if they had been not just, I mean, we're going to get into whether this means that we're going to have Microsoft exclusive. If The Elder Scrolls is going to be a Microsoft exclusive property going down the line, but like, if Doom had been a timed exclusive on the Xbox One,
yeah,
that would have been like, okay, that's a game changer, right? Like that.
Well, any of these games, if they were like at minimum timed exclusives, would have been huge. Doom, Prey, fucking Fallout 4,
Evil Within.
I didn't notice I didn't mention 76 at all. But there's a lot of stuff that this is just massive. Like, and they did this the day before their pre-orders.
Yeah.
Like literally the 24 hours prior to that.
We're going to get to that part. But yeah, it's interesting because you know what this means, though, right? You know what this means.
Todd Howard is swimming in a Scrooge McDuck pile of money.
No. This is I think this is a feverish pipe dream, and that people need to stop even thinking it. But this means that the same company owns Obsidian and the Fallout franchise, and so technically they could get New Vegas 2.
There's a bunch of memes going on about that. One of them was that the ending of Justice League,
where
it's like Superman talking to Batman. It's like, so how'd you get Fallout back? It's like, I bought the entirety of Bethesda.
This is huge. I mean, it's hard to express how big this could be. It has a lot of implications.
One of the implications that I'm excited for is the idea of Xbox staring at Bethesda going, could you make the bugs not as many of them?
Well, so the thing that I thought was really interesting is that this lays the groundwork moving forward, and we're going to get into some of the specifics of this in a minute, of if every Bethesda game, every new Bethesda game is day one Game Pass.
Oh shit.
I mean, Game Pass is like $15 a month for both PC and the Xbox, right? Game Pass Ultimate. But like, if moving forward in the next generation, Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, if they ever make any more Preys, if they ever make any more Dooms, whatever was coming from Wolfenstein or from Machine Games or even any of those companies. Like that's the thing, is that this isn't purchasing one company.
Yeah.
They purchased like 6 companies here
all at once.
that were all big companies. id Software is in that package.
It's fucking
like
it really is nuts, guys. You really don't know just how fucking insane it is until you lay it all out.
so even like so it actually got me thinking that this could be a fascinating thing to watch going forward, because what if the next Elder Scrolls game, like I'm not even going to say like what if the next Elder Scrolls game is going to come out on every console, but it's all going to be on Game Pass. So if you have an Xbox, you just pay $15 a month and get like the new game. Whereas if you have a PlayStation, you got to spend $60 on it. Like, it could be interesting if moving forward, like Microsoft's whole thing was that like if you sign up with us, we may not have console exclusives, but you are going to pay so much less for your games on a
like from day one.
Yeah. That could be
huge.
I mean, that could be
like with games being $70 on the PS5 right now.
Yeah,
that is undercutting them hard.
Yeah,
if that ends up being the thing.
I mean, like, yeah, what if the next Doom game comes out on both the PS5 and the Xbox and the PC? But if you have Game Pass Ultimate on either the PC or the Xbox, you just install that shit on the first day it's available. That again, that's huge. That's just titanic.
That's
like,
massive.
It's a weird way to break the console exclusivity cycle and say, we're not going to say you have to buy into our ecosystem. We're just going to say that if you do, then you're going to spend like 60% less when it comes to buying video games.
If you play enough of the games, it pays for itself.
Absolutely.
100%.
100%. I'd say that's the way that Game Pass is right now.
Oh, absolutely.
I looked at PlayStation Now. No, man. Like, nowhere. No. It's nothing compared to what's going on Game Pass.
It's garbage compared to Game Pass.
What I saw they added today. I was looking at my Game Pass because they don't even tell you this shit anymore. I booted up Game Pass, and Warhammer 2, Vermintide, and Night in the Woods are now on Game Pass.
Oh, jeez.
I just like out of nowhere, So, yeah, good on you, Microsoft. Okay, let's get to the questions. The questions say, the first question is, like, why did ZeniMax sell to Microsoft?
Oh, $7 billion is not thing to scoff at.
Absolutely
but the
not.
idea that they even did that is amazing.
Yeah. And a lot of the answers seem to be kind of the question is that ZeniMax as a parent company is owned by like a bunch of really kind of, they're like financiers, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about like money men, like Strauss Zelnick or Bobby Kotick. You're not talking about like, yeah, man, I bought. I keep wanting to say ZDNet. That's not correct. I bought ZeniMax because I love video games so much, and I think that the people that run ZeniMax, I don't think they're satisfied with their investment because, like, Doom Eternal did well, but think to the, Evil Within 2 didn't do very good.
Fallout 76 fucking destroyed their reputation.
Fallout 76 crashed. I liked Wolfenstein Youngblood, but I didn't get the impression that it was like flying off the shelves or anything.
It didn't do all that well. They fucked up their reputation. Like all those companies had games that came out that just didn't do that well. Like what was it? Rage 2?
Rage 2
came out.
Yeah,
and I don't think know anyone who really played that game.
I played it all the way to the end. 100% of that game. It was bad.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like they
put that Quake out. Nobody ever even talks about that. Like,
did that ever come? That actually come out? I didn't even know that.
It was playable.
Well, that's the thing. It's like for the past year or two, Bethesda keeps shooting itself in the foot. Except for Doom and some of the Wolfenstein stuff.
Yeah.
And they've just consistently re-released Skyrim.
And like Wolfenstein, I mean, Youngblood, I thought Youngblood was okay, but like a lot of people fucking hated Youngblood.
The internet turned on Wolfenstein.
And they did like the microtransactions. It was just...
Oh, yeah.
And then, remember they put out the VR, the like Cyber Pilot, and I don't hear nobody ever talks about that. Yeah. So, like, it's not outside of the realm of possibility to say that, like, while it might be a profitable company, it might not be doing the profits that, like, okay, I'm not going to wander too far over into Bernard Sanders' house, but, like, it seems like game companies these days are not happy unless they're making every money that could possibly be moneyed, right?
No, it's true.
And
like what was it, Square, when when Tomb Raider came out, it was like, it's a failure. But even though like it sold the most of like any of their fucking shit that year.
Yeah, they wanted it to do Call of Duty numbers, and it did Tomb Raider numbers, and the like CEO apologized and resigned in disgrace.
It was ridiculous.
So I get the impression that over the last 3 or 4 years that not ZDNet, that fucking ZeniMax hasn't been making the return on investment that they want. That these properties have been, making a tidy profit, but not like huge. So if somebody said, hey, that company you own that like takes a lot of time and effort and isn't really giving you a shitload of money, I will give you 8 guys like $7 billion, and then all your underlings can have $1 million, and you get to walk away. And then we get like all this shit and a company that understands how to make games. So
it's tricky with like a lot of those financiers. It's one of the reasons China is funding as much stuff as they are, because a lot of those people don't want to make that much little, I guess, with their investment.
Yeah,
compared to if they did it with another random company, I guess.
True. So then the next question is like, what's going to happen with Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo?
Oh yeah,
which were supposed to be PS5 console exclusives for I think time limited console exclusives, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure on either one, to be honest.
So what's the guy? Is it Phil Spencer came out and said Microsoft and Bethesda will be honoring those contracts, which I'm sure that those contracts were just set in a million stones, right?
Ages ago. So.
Like they would have to pay something huge if they broke those contracts. So Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop are both going to still be coming as PS5 launch exclusives with a timed exclusivity. But when asked about like what comes next, basically they said, so Phil Spencer basically said that upcoming games like the new Elder Scrolls games will be released on the Xbox and the PC, and we'll have to take the rest on a case-by-case basis.
That's fucking crazy.
So there's the possibility. I mean, like at this point it's weird because here, I tell you what, let's do a thought experiment. You're Microsoft, you own Bethesda. Bethesda's making the next Elder Scrolls game. Do you allow that game to be ported onto the PlayStation? Do you release it on all the consoles that you can? Or do you try to hold it to PC and Xbox?
If I was Microsoft, I would make it just a time exclusive because they've done such a good job at selling their ecosystem. It proves to me that they don't actually care that much about exclusivity.
Right.
So much more as they care about you buy it.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Well, plus Game Pass has changed this equation, right? Because Game Pass is an incentive to own the console without console exclusivity, right?
No, yeah.
It costs nothing if I'm paying for Game Pass, it costs nothing on the Xbox, and if I'm on a PlayStation, it costs $60.
Like I saw a meme that made me laugh because it was just like, as a PlayStation fan who's also just plays PC games, like, oh no, but anyway, like it's just like he doesn't fucking care because it doesn't matter him,
right?
Which is why I think it's like it's very possible that they probably don't care either. They're just like, look, we did this so we could have a bunch of games on here, but also on PC, and we get to control all that stuff. So at the end of the day, I don't really think they actually care about exclusives as much as people think they do.
Yeah, if you buy it for your PlayStation 5, we still get the fucking money.
Exactly. Like, we get the money for
Microsoft
that.
gets the money for your PlayStation game, man.
They're like, boo-hoo, as they count their dollars in the corner. They're like, yeah, that's great. I don't fucking care.
Right. I mean, think about how much money Skyrim has made Bethesda over... How long has it been? Like 9 years that Skyrim's been on every fucking platform. Like
it's been on everything.
Everything, you know.
The main reason I really don't think they care about exclusives is the fact that since Microsoft is PC,
right,
is really what it comes down to. They get the money no matter where you're going, kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's weird. I mean, I think that this is probably just corporate doublespeak for like we don't know. Like, we don't know if somebody's going to come along and make us basically do it. But I bet that if Phil Spencer had his way, that it would be like, no, it's gonna come everywhere. Like, we'll take your $60. We'll take your $60.
Yeah, I don't see Microsoft being that kind of way. Like, because everybody always makes that argument against Sony.
Yeah,
kind of thing. But Sony doesn't have the luxury of being on two different of owning both fucking things.
Right.
Like they don't own the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like they make their money exclusively on their one thing.
Yeah.
So that makes sense why they would keep that.
There's no PlayStation front end you can install on your PC and put Bloodborne on it. Yeah.
That's why they're so adamant of hanging on to that stuff. Xbox, they are PC, like I said. They joined this. They were already the PC guys. Like, they were already making the PC game money.
Mm-hmm.
And then they joined the console thing, and they're like, fuck it, we'll make all of the money now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I like this. I'm going to say, just to come to the conclusion, because I think that was the last thing, was the kind of we'll see. I like this because, as I've always said, the only reason that we have Xbox Game Pass is because Sony ate Microsoft's lunch and they had to do something to try to catch back up again.
Yeah.
That is the only fucking reason. The only reason that Microsoft started giving away free games in the first place was because Sony started the PlayStation Plus program because Microsoft was eating their lunch in the last generation. The only way we get anything is when these two companies are trying to fuck each other over to get one of us to go to prom with them. And, like, you know, that's the only way that we get stuff. So, like, yes, by all means, become more competitive. Like, give me more free shit.
It's a fight is the thing. Before, it was just, like you said, the last two console generations, they were just one-sided back and forth.
Mm-hmm. This
is the first time in a long time that I'm just like, oh my god, these two are actually going head-to-head, but I don't know who's going to win this time.
It's incredibly strange because when you think a lot about Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo, it's like comparing bananas and apples and grapes. It's like they're completely different fruit, you guys. There's no comparison between the Switch and the Series X. That's not a thing. Like,
no, that's not true.
That's like comparing, like, you know, a screwdriver and
a hammer.
yeah, like they don't do the same thing.
Yeah, they both, like, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But it's very exciting.
Yeah,
very, very exciting.
And they're not apparently done yet. This is a story that came right before we started, but apparently Microsoft said that they have even more acquisitions that they are about to announce.
Jesus Christ.
But they're not going to do any of it at TGS. So shall we speculate wildly? Shall we take a moment to speculate wildly?
No, I'd rather not.
Square Enix?
That would be fucking weird.
What was the one? Before today, I never would have thought Microsoft would have. I keep forgetting how fucking big Microsoft is, right?
Well, that's the thing is, like, you because when you look at the game companies, you're looking at them as the small guy,
right? But
then you forget Microsoft is actually just a giant fucking dude, who has like a closet in the back that does games,
right?
And that's it. Like his office is fucking huge. He just has the one tiny room that he checks on every now and then. He's like, "How you guys doing?" And they're like, well, we're thinking about buying this thing. And he just throws a suitcase of money at him and closes the door.
Right.
Like, it's just like,
is that what you want for Christmas? Okay, I will get this for you, but then I'm not getting you anything for Christmas. This is your Christmas present if we get this today. Like,
exactly. Like, Microsoft is making tons of fucking money in other places.
Yeah, man. I fucking have a subscription to Office. I give them like $15 a month for Outlook, Michael. Like a Dumbo.
Exactly. Like, Microsoft is fine. Like, if everybody's always like, well, the Xbox will go away. It's like, it's not going to go away.
It's not going to go away.
This is literally a side project that just sort of took a life of its own.
They're just like Epic or Google. They bought their way, and Sony for that matter, they all bought their way into this market with aggressive money moves and then just stuck around because once you're here, nobody's getting rid of you.
And literally the only one who'd like kind of started sort of like that was just Nintendo in the background. And even then, they kind of did the same thing.
Yeah. Well, fuck. PlayStation wouldn't exist if Nintendo hadn't gotten Sony to try to make a CD drive for the fucking Super Nintendo.
They both renegated on their own deals.
Yep. But no, well, what was the one is after I saw some rumbling on Twitter where people were like, now that Microsoft has bought Bethesda, Sony needs to buy Konami. And I was like,
I'd be cool with that, though.
I mean, yeah.
Because Konami isn't doing anything with any of their shit.
It'd be nice to get a new Castlevania game and like a new Metal Gear, maybe. Wait, Sony buys Konami and they've got Hideo Kojima, then maybe he could make the Metal Gear game that he always wanted.
He could make the Silent Hill.
Holy shit. What if Sony bought Konami and 3 years from now we were in like March and it's like, Michael, do you remember that Silent Hills and Fallout New Vegas 2 are coming out this March,
Man.
it'd be like, what golden age are we living in?
That would blow my mind.
This almost makes the rest of the world worth the things that are happening to it, but not really. Not
God,
quite.
if you're up there, just make that one thing happen. Just make that specific thing happen. I'll be cool with you forever.
Or just like, what if they bought Konami and then Kojima got to go back and make do the third act of MGS5?
Oh my God!
And then put
I
out
can only
like,
get so erect, Jeff.
the MGS5 final edition or whatever. I mean, it would still have the dumb shit with Quiet rolling around on the ground like a
Like I said, I can only get so erect.
crazy stripper. But. Also, speaking of Japan, apparently Microsoft is going to take another stab at the Japanese market. Phil Spencer came out in a video at the beginning of TGS and was basically like, "Hey, Japan, we think you guys are great. Like, a lot of us have been influenced by your game development, and we're going to like make an effort to try to get stuff done over there." So
Please buy us, guys, for realsies.
Yeah, because Xbox is garbage in Japan. Nobody cares.
Oh, they hate it down there.
So we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, the main thing is I think that if you want to play in Japan, you've got to fucking put out Japanese video games, and like Sony does that, like Nintendo does that. You know,
Well, the issue is the companies don't want to make the Xbox games because
Right.
nobody's buying them. So why should they?
Well, I mean, the thing is that if you were aggressive enough with your cash reserves, it's like if you port something to PS4, I'm sure that that after that point, I mean, they're both running x86 architecture, right? So
Sure.
like, it's probably not going to take a shitload to port it over to the Xbox.
Well, they're like lately, like for the first time this year, I think it's been more and more. Or not, I don't even mean just this year, the past few years, because Dragon Ball FighterZ came out on the Xbox One.
Right.
Same with Kakarot. Same with what's the name of that Jump Force?
Jump Force.
Jump Force came out on everything. It even
Yeah.
came out on the Switch. They're finally trying to put them on everything.
Yeah.
And whether or not that turns out to work out as well for Microsoft, I think is time will tell kind of thing.
I think they need to get further into the weird ass weeds with like a lot of those NIS RPGs and like Trails of Cold Steel and like, you know, get Disgaea 6 DLC or something.
The main thing is they've tried in the past. You know, that's how Blue Dragon came to be.
Yeah, but that was one fucking game. Like they need to make partnerships with a bunch of these crazy Japanese companies.
Well, that's true. But the thing is that like they tried baby steps, but they need big steps.
Yeah.
To really make it work.
Yeah. So we'll see. How weird would it be if there was like a Game Pass for Japan that was just nothing but like JRPGs?
I'd buy the shit. I'd want that so bad.
All right. And all that brings us to the Series X launch.
Yeah.
So, you know how last week we both got to be sitting over here like, haha, we got PlayStations. Well, this week, haha, I did not get a Series X.
Yeah.
I tried.
I tried for like all of 10 minutes because I forgot it was happening that day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't care.
I got the time wrong, so I started 30 minutes late, and by then it was done. So you know how last time everybody was like, God damn it, Sony, this was such a mess. You just fucking sprang it on everybody and blah, 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 blah. Well, it turns out that when you have the exact moment that you know the pre-orders are going to get turned on, the exact same thing happens. Like, it's just a fucking stampede, and the bots turn on and start fucking buying shit to scalp on eBay.
See, the issue with Microsoft like talking shit about it was they made it seem like as all of a sudden Target, Best Buy, and Walmart's websites would work all of a sudden.
Right.
Where in reality they did nothing differently.
Well, what was the thing that I heard that GameStop had a thing where it was like, you're in the queue, don't refresh your webpage. And then it was just like, but am I? And then eventually you'd be like,
Some of them just crashed apparently.
yeah, I don't think I'm here anymore. Anyway, it was all a big clusterfuck mess. I put an Xbox in my Microsoft cart because Microsoft had them for a while, and then it wouldn't let me change my payment information fast enough, and then it timed out, and then there were no more.
Oh.
So I still have one in my cart, though. I just can't check out. Like, it gives me an error whenever I try to hit the go button. Best Buy came back later in the day. Like, they were weird, and then they eventually came back up.
That's how my brother got one. My brother ended up getting one.
There was like a kind of a second wave of it. Yeah, so guess what? It was still a clusterfuck.
No.
It was not any better.
Absolute clusterfuck. They were so they were such kind of dickish about the fact that they're like, hey, we have all the dates.
Yep.
But it's like, but you didn't. You guys forgot that everybody else is going to have the exact same issues that caused this to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And the Microsoft store, like you said, didn't exactly fare any better.
Yeah. It was. I think the thing is that I probably had one, but then the store was so overloaded that I couldn't enter in my like address and credit card information fast enough. And by the time I got it done, it was gone.
And they had the whole like, hey, you could like use a payment plan thing.
Right.
There was no time for anyone to even look at it.
No. Which I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of, like I was sitting around today trying to like rack my brain, being like, how do you stop this? And I don't know the answer to that, right? Like if you say, well, you can only buy one per address, then it's like people will just make up a second address. They'll just buy a bunch of P.O. boxes, right? If you say you can only use the same credit card, people will use different PayPal accounts. If you say, I mean, I can't think of it. Even if like eBay made a policy where they were like, you can't mark up a thing that hasn't come out yet. Specifically, you can't mark up a game console that hasn't come out yet by 2,000%. They would sell it on another website. They would sell it on some back channel Craigslist bullshit.
Yeah, because the main issue with it is that the closest thing to I ever saw being a decent idea was Sony's one per gamer tag thing. Or you know what I mean? PlayStation idea. But the issue is that like that wasn't even to all those people.
Right.
It was just to like maybe you'll get one.
Yeah.
Kind of thing if you do that. But like Target's not going to have a fucking built-in for that. It's not going to be like, oh, you have a Microsoft gamer tag, put it in and then you can get an Xbox. That's not going to happen. They're not going to spend that much money on one product to come out. And that's the whole reason why it wasn't going to happen with either PS5 or the Xbox Series X or whenever any other console comes out.
Or the fucking Switch for that matter. That shit sold out in 5 minutes too, right?
Exactly.
Like,
all of these things, everybody's treating this like it's their fault. It's like, no, it's the retailers don't give a fuck enough to fix their infrastructure.
Yep.
Or not infrastructure, because it's not even really fixing their infrastructure. This only happens like once or twice a year.
Yep.
You're not going to spend that much money to try to make sure that it does well for the entire year.
I saw somebody who was complaining about it who was just like, why don't you just fucking buy more server space when you know this is going to happen? It's like that. I don't think that like your website has to be able to accommodate like so many connections that you probably be it you know what it reminds me a lot of is the
so it comes down to why should they pay that money?
when an online game launches and it's broken on day one, and then from day two onward it's fine, but like on day one everybody's trying to log the fuck in and it breaks. And it's like, well, that was one day, and like guess what, you were still trying to refresh Target's broken ass website. Like, it's frustrating and I get it, but like nobody was like, you know what? I am not going to buy an Xbox Series X even though I want one, to show these retailers how much I dislike their infrastructure of their websites.
Here's the thing, like even Nintendo had something happen to them this past Monday.
Yeah.
So you remember when Mario when they announced All-Star 3D All-Stars, they were going to come out with, you can get this free set of pins if you do this very specific set of things.
Right.
They started the exact moment to do them on Monday at like 2:00 at our time.
Yeah.
The site was just fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
I barely got out with one. It took me an hour to do that, and I accidentally had 4 in my cart, so I don't know if they're going to send me four of those things though.
All right.
So that's the thing. Like,
well, but
why should they spend the money to make the site work that way? Work out that way?
The perfect counterpoint here is that, was it like last week when the 3080s, when the RTX 3080s came out, and the exact same thing happened?
Yeah.
They sold out immediately, right? If any of you guys have, I mean, like, I'm all in favor of fixing it. I just don't really see how, because
here's the thing:
jerk ass assholes are going to jerk ass assholes.
I've worked e-commerce for a long time, and the thing is, when a person knows that a huge spike is going to happen, whether or not because they show up on like Ellen or something or Reddit,
right?
A lot of times they'll call whoever their server guy is, and they'll be like, "Okay, we want you to quarantine us to this one server." So the servers around it don't fucking explode, basically.
Right.
And the thing is, like, even when you do that, it's just the same thing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because no server at the moment in the world is designed to really work out this way. And like I said, why would they spend the money for more server space for the one day? They don't have to.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, it's sold out. There are going to be further rollouts before the launch. There are going to be a small number of them at launch in locations, physical numbers in locations. But as you said before, as I said before, this always fucking happens.
Yeah.
And like by February, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's not even. It's not even consoles. You remember in the 80s when they showed like Black Friday with the Cabbage Patch Kids where the moms punch each other in the face to get a Cabbage Patch Kid? Or like how my grandma had to buy Super Mario Brothers 3 for me from Ohio because they were sold out in all of Austin. The Christmas Super Mario Brothers 3 came out. Like that NES cart was impossible to find. Like this is not the first time that this has happened.
Well, hell, even with the Amiibos, like in recent memory,
Yeah.
the Amiibos were like this.
Yeah.
I waited in line for 2 hours to pre-order a Charizard amiibo.
You waited in line for a lot longer than that to get me a fucking Nintendo Switch.
I did. I stayed in line for an entire day, and it was such a good day.
So anyway, and again, I want to make sure that this doesn't come off as me like dismissing people's anger, right? Like
I'm not dismissing their anger. It's just that like there's
this shit happens.
It's going to happen. I'm sorry. Like it sucks because, like I said, a lot of people didn't get what they wanted.
Yeah,
I got the one thing I wanted, so I was fine.
Yeah,
but I get why you're upset because you didn't get it. Like if I didn't get it, I also would be super pissed off.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you what people did get. What people got a lot of was Xbox One X.
Oh my god.
So apparently this is off of Amazon. The Xbox One X sales went up 747% on the day because like I went to Amazon to try to find one of these and I typed Xbox One Series X and the page wasn't up yet. So what it showed me was Xbox One X.
Yeah.
And a lot of people bought Xbox One X's.
Fucking hell, guys.
Just call it something. There are other letters besides X, Microsoft. Like, call it something else.
I think I remember mentioning this. I don't remember if I mentioned this on camera, or not camera, but on
Mike.
There was a meme where somebody had mentioned this because they said a lot of people bought Xbox One X's instead of Xbox Series S's, as well as the X, and they're like, I don't see the issue. The X is better than the S. Like, you didn't read it correctly because it proves the point. Just like no one knows the difference anymore.
Well, hell, on this story that I was looking at on Polygon, there's literally like a description for Destiny 2 that said Destiny 2 will be online, available for pre-order now. Will be coming to Xbox One Series X. There is no Xbox One Series X.
Yeah.
There's an Xbox Series X. There's an Xbox One X. What the fuck is an Xbox One Series X? Why did they have to use the same letters this time around? Why did they have to use the same letters?
It's so fucking ridiculous. Just call it literally anything else.
Anything else.
Anything else that's not similar to what you're selling right now.
You could have called it the Super Xbox X. The Super Xbox. The Supex box.
People would have been cool with that too. It would have made sense.
Xbox One Series S.
The Xbox GameCube. Fuck it.
Yeah. The X Station.
The X Station Wii.
Yeah.
The X Station U.
Are you getting that new Microsoft X Station U? That man. Here it's got its own like fucking note touchpad controller. Anyway, so that happened.
DualShock Nunchuck.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to be mad. There was one I saw where somebody was like, I checked out, and then it was like, it'll be available tomorrow. And I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, fuck. All right, I see what I did.
Yeah, but apparently there's a lot of rumors going on a lot of these things, whether or not the pre-order is going to come back up. One of the rumors is that you're going to only be able to do it physically at some GameStops.
Well, that's what they did. I read some tweets that were people that were like, they lined up outside of GameStops to do their pre-orders because they had a physical number, and it was just like first come, first serve. And I'm just like, but at the end of the day, I have an okay PC, and I have an Xbox One X, and Halo isn't coming out in December.
Yeah.
Like, the reasoning for me to have an Xbox Series X, I want one, I will get one, but it is not like at the top of my list.
That's the thing. Like Spider-Man comes out this year, both the Miles Morales and the remastered.
Yes,
but Halo Infinite got delayed for like another year. So I'm
like a dragon, I think is the big Xbox thing.
There's a lot of stuff that are coming out that I'm not super interested on the Xbox.
Yeah,
but I'm very interested when it comes to the PS5.
Yeah. So, but they probably are going to have more. They're probably going to be more. We also got a listing on Best Buy's website this week. So if you have an Xbox Series X/S and you want to expand the hard drive, We got our first taste of what these new solid-state drive expansions are going to be. $220 for 1 terabyte expansion.
Fuck me, really?
Yep. Half the cost of, well, a little less than half the cost of the console, if it's you're talking about the X. That is because these are Gen 4 SSDs. And like if you go look for one on Amazon, it's going to cost that much because these are the new hotness, super, super goddamn fast SSDs. And they can't literally give you a slower option because the way the architecture is now set up, it would slow everything down and make the game shittier. Like if you didn't have a fast hard drive, like there's going to probably be games in the future that are going to actually, we got one we're going to talk about before we're even done with this podcast. Games that literally rely on that speed in order to be able to load things fast enough. So you can't get away with a shitty ass bad version of that drive.
That's fucking nuts.
It is. It is.
Gone are the days of $30 memory cards.
Well, and here's the thing. We don't even know what Sony's going to do. I bet it's going to be more expensive. I bet it's going to be more expensive to get that expansion.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything of how
PS5.
How that works. They keep saying that the PS5 should be more customizable, but nobody knows what that means.
Right.
Because they haven't really said what it means.
Yeah. Well, and it has to be like whatever drive you put in has to be the same speed as that super fucking kick-ass custom SSD that's in there, or else it's going to fuck up their whole architecture. So that's,
it's going to be a whole thing, guys.
It's going to be a whole thing. We're coming into, I feel like with the 3000 generation of RTX cards, it's like, nah, man, we're done with video cards. It's all about hard drive speed now. Like, the rest doesn't matter. We got the video cards and the processors taken care of. So now we're moving to the next thing down the list to make super fast. And the generation after that, it's just going to be all memory. It's going to be like, how blazingly fast is your memory? But
generation's getting weirder and weirder as time goes on.
It is. And last but not least, on the Xbox front, so I don't know if you saw this, but last week Xbox Game Pass put out a thing where it was like an internal memo saying like, "Oh, we're gonna tell you about this new game that's coming on to Game Pass pretty soon." Then there's totally not a hint in here, and there's no hints at all, no hints whatsoever. And then people took the little picture and they jacked up the contrast. And it turns out that if you jack the contrast way the fuck up, it says the Slayer is coming.
You sons of bitches. You sick bastards.
In this. Doom Eternal is coming to Game Pass for both Xbox One and PC later this year.
Good for them.
So that's it'll probably be just in time for the DLC, right? So that you can get Doom Eternal, but you still have to pay for the DLC.
It's a good move.
Yeah, it is indeed.
And now that they own them, it's even a better move.
Yep. This is the beginning. The beginning.
This is how it starts.
Actually, you know what? I think I didn't find it when I was looking at my stuff for the week, but I think I also heard a rumor that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be on Game Pass. That they're going to let day and date Valhalla
that would be
release
crazy
on Game Pass. Which again, that's interesting because that means that like if Yakuza Like a Dragon, all of Bethesda's games, and like the thing I just said, Valhalla, so it's so forgettable I can't remember it for 10 seconds. The new Assassin's Creed, this like after the launch of the Series X, are all on Game Pass. Like, great, that's great. That's a real reason to buy that console. And then just like, God, it just occurred to me, Michael. Can you imagine what it's like to be one of these fucking little these little kids that got everything. They got shoes with wheels in them. Can you imagine opening up your new console on Christmas and having like 400 games to choose from?
Oh my God.
Like, you're pissing me off.
Makes me sad now.
Yeah. I had like one
Not for the
game.
kids, but to me, I guess.
I remember when I got my PlayStation 2, and I got Metal Gear Solid 2 on it.
You're lucky, man.
And
I had Kinetica. That was my one PS2 game for a long time.
I got it like a year and a half after it was a thing. But I got it, and I got Metal Gear Solid 2, and then at Christmas I went and talked to any of my relatives because I was just marathoning Metal Gear Solid 2, and I beat it in like 24 hours, and then I was like, we need to go back to the game store. I want to swap this out for something else. And I was like, why? And it's like, because I beat it. Like, there's no reason to play it again, like, play it over again. What, get all the dog tags? That's stupid.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I got a PS2, like, a little bit way after it first came out. I didn't get a memory card for it until the next Christmas.
Oh shit!
And so the next Christmas, my brother gave me Dragon Ball Z Budokai, and since it's a fighting game that you have to unlock characters on, if I wanted certain characters, I had to play through the entire story mode again.
Yeah.
Every single day for like 3 days until my brother was like, "Oh shit!" So then he finally bought me a memory card.
Oh my god!
And that's the story of how I got my first PS2 memory card.
Well, speaking of memory, soon day one patches will be a memory. I don't know. I don't have a transit for this.
I doubt that's true.
More Xbox. This is actually fantastic news. This is another thing that Microsoft is doing that I think is really incredible. So apparently on the new version of the Xbox app that you can do on your phone, you can literally just pick a video game and download it even if you don't own it. And what this means is that, like, you know, when you come home and you've got Spider-Man Miles Morales and you put it in your PlayStation 5 and then it says, like, updating, this will be ready in fucking an hour and a half. Well, now with the Xbox, apparently, you can just, like, say, I'm going to buy Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I want you to download all of Assassin's Creed Valhalla with all of the day one patches to my system, and then I will come up and put the disc in and it'll go, okay, you own that. Launch immediately.
I wanted this to be a thing for so long, guys.
Me fucking too.
Like when I bought Avengers, I had to like wait for it to show up because I had ordered it off of Amazon.
Yeah.
And then I had to wait for it to install while
and then patch.
Yeah, and all that stuff. And while my roommate wanted to play Tony Hawk, so I was just like, well, I need to get off Tony Hawk for like 5 minutes so I can at least put the disc in.
Start the installation.
And then when I did, it was like, you don't have enough space. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. So I had to delete. Like it's a whole process.
Yep.
And whereas, like, it would be great if, like, that's one of the few things about buying digitally right now that has the edge is that you can just, when you do it, like, it'll start downloading a couple days prior and it's already there. Whereas physical, you just get fucked on it. But this would be fucking fantastic.
There have been a lot of games where, like, somebody comes over to record with me and I show up with the game and put it in and it's like, you're going to need a 3-hour update. And I'm like, fuck, we are. We're playing whatever's on this disc right now because Jason's got to go home. And like, we're not going to sit here for 3 hours while you update. So
fucking Red Dead 2 was a great example of that.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck me.
Yeah. So this is amazing and it's great and I love it. So good.
Yes. Very good.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up, Microsoft.
Please let that be a thing.
Yep. Let's talk a little bit about Sony before we take a break and then talk about Cyberpunk. So Sony did put out a tweet saying that PS5, it said, let's be honest, PS5 pre-orders could have been a lot smoother. We truly apologize for that. Over the next few days, we'll release more PS5 consoles for pre-order. Retailers will share more details. So it appears that both Xbox and Sony are going to have, like, this wasn't all of them.
Yeah.
There are going to be more opportunities to purchase stuff. I personally wish that they would make, like, a custom phone app because what am I supposed to do? Put a Google alert for PlayStation 5? It's going to go off every goddamn day,
That's
8
true.
times a day.
Yeah.
Like, I need just, like, fuck your email, Sony. I need, like, a 2 kilobyte app that just says, ding, there's PlayStations, and I can be like, okay. Or like, ding, there's Xboxes, right? Because I didn't know. I was sitting at my computer waiting for 30 minutes, just dicking around on YouTube, and I was like, what's going on Twitter? Why is everybody talking about the series? Oh, fuck!
It happens. Oh, you didn't know about the PS5 thing?
No,
well, I was fucking with my phone.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start an app company that just makes like an app that only notifies you when one thing happens, but you can totally customize what that one thing is.
Oh, okay.
And it just gives you a push alert for that one thing. It's like BTS's new single dropped. Ding! Like, there you go. Or like, hey, it's been, well, I was going to say it's been 5 minutes. Your microwave dinner is done, but there's already a thing that makes a noise when that happens.
Yeah, it's your microwave.
Anyway, so Sony put out is going to be putting some more stuff. We also found out that this is, I guess, contentious to some people. I feel like you and I both keep getting confused by this, but if you have Spider-Man on the PS4, there's no free upgrade path to getting Spider-Man on the PS5.
Yes.
If you buy Miles Morales, you can basically pay an additional
things like 20
charge, $20 to basically get the remastered edition of the PS4 Spider-Man. But you can't. I mean, technically, I didn't even think about this, but technically, you can play the PS4 version of Spider-Man on your PS5.
That's the thing.
But
everyone's like shitting on it. But the reason, there's a big reason why it's not, because it's supposed to be an actually different game.
Yeah.
Like they've updated everything on it. Like they've updated the textures. They've added the RTX
ray
stuff.
Ray tracing.
They're going to add more suits to it.
Yeah.
Like 3 different suits. They're changing Peter Parker's model apparently on it. Like is what they said. It is a completely different version of the game.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, why can't I just upgrade it? Like, it's because it's not the same thing. Like they're outright have said this is not the same thing. But if you really care that much, you can still, like you said, you can just play your PS4 one on there.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing stopping you from doing that.
This whole phenomena, I guess, I take a very different view of game companies in general, capitalism and the world, where I feel like there's constantly these stories where people are just like, what do you mean you're not going to give me free stuff like a nice guy? And I'm like, well, they're not nice. And they want your money.
They're not your friends.
They're not your friends. Why would you ever expect to get a 2-year-old game for free? Like, I didn't get Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition for free because I bought Darksiders 2. I couldn't put the PS3 disc for Darksiders 2 into my PS4 and get the Definitive Edition for free.
What's the thing? Like, we can't get the Saints Row 3 like Super Edition right now.
Yeah,
that's completely remastered for free because we bought Saints Row the Third when it first came out.
Yeah,
it's literally that same thing is what they're saying right now.
It's strange to me because I don't know where the expectation came from.
The issues that a lot of people. It's the thing that's against Sony right now is that people have decided on their own that they hate consumers, that they're anti-consumer,
that Sony is anti-consumer.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, like because of this, I guess Control might have been part of the other thing.
That's Remedy. That's 505.
But that's the thing. Like people don't know the difference. they just say like this one person doesn't let me do the thing.
Right.
It's like, but that's not the case. You guys came up with this on your own. Like you said, I don't know where the fuck it came from.
I
all
don't
of a sudden, everybody was just like, they hate us. Like that's clearly not the case here, guys. Like just read a little bit deeper past the headlines you keep saying, and you'll be fine.
Do you know how many times I've purchased Skyrim?
Yeah. You know how many times I've purchased Super Mario Brothers 3
or Dark Souls? I mean, I've paid over and over again for game. I've never been given. The closest I've gotten is when like if you bought the shitty old version of like Darksiders, and then they came out with a remaster of Darksiders that on Steam, if you bought it on Steam, they'd give you like 20% off because you had it on Steam, but still to buy it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really understand where the idea, I mean, hey, you know what? Like if somebody asked me, if the game company was like, hey, Jeff from Ragelight, should we let people just get free copies of games or should we charge them for it? I'd be like, nah, you give it to them for free. It seems like a nice guy thing to do.
Like it's nice that some games have that, but they're clearly like mostly optimized versions of the games that came out.
Right.
Like Avengers, Control, all those things, like they're clearly just better, like slightly better versions of those games.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, and that's only going to happen for this first chunk. Like after this, there's no such thing as free upgrade kind of thing because there are going to be different games.
Yeah.
People just are, for some reason, have this weird idea in their head that all their PS4 games will just all of a sudden be free PS5 games. It's just, I don't know. I don't get it.
Maybe it's Game Pass. Maybe they've gotten so used to just having this huge back catalog on Game Pass.
Even then, Game Pass doesn't technically do that.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know where it comes from. Like I'm just trying to think of stuff that's coming out later this year. Like I don't feel like I'm going to get Doom Eternal on my PlayStation 5 because I had it on my PlayStation 4. But I don't know.
I'm not expecting any of these things.
Hey, I'm not trying to like. I don't know how many times I have to say this because I just get so paranoid. I don't think Sony's I don't think Sony is my friend.
No.
And I like Sony, but I'm not under any delusions that they're like the good guys and that the Xbox is the bad guys. I don't care. They're just a bunch of guys, right?
Yeah,
like
they're the same fucking guy, really.
Yeah. So I'm just looking for a cogent argument outside of but I want it, right?
That's really what it comes down to, but I want it.
Like, why is it something that should be expected outside of in a way that flies in the face of the logic of everything that's come beforehand, right?
Well, it's the same thing with the I don't know if you have this up, where the save data
I do
thing.
Yes,
like people are also arguing about the fact that the save data won't be the same.
Yeah, the PS4 Spider-Man save data won't go over
and
to
the remastered
PS5.
one.
Yeah,
there are plenty of games that are the remastered versions where your data's never gonna fucking go. Like, I didn't expect Saints Row the Third to take my Saints Row, or the remaster to take my original Saints Row stuff. I don't know where this is fucking coming from.
Do you know how many times I've had to I've installed a Saints Row game and then brought up the YouTube video of Jason and I playing Saints Row on Spill to see what Loretta's sliders are, or Garfieldius for that matter.
Yeah.
Like, none of that shit transfers ever. I don't understand, like, where and I guess, like, maybe this is this is like crossplay, right? It's one of those things where, like, we're gonna complain about this until you fucking do it, right? I deserve to get all my save games. All my save games got wiped out 3 months ago.
Yeah,
but I'm not a regular person. People don't have the same attitude. I'm just like, why would you care if your save game was lost for Spider-Man? It's a super fun game. Just play it again. Like, you bought Spider-Man so you could play Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Are you all you wanted to do was play New Game Plus of Spider-Man? I don't understand.
It's weird. Like the arguments people make, it's like, well, I just don't want to do the thing again. It's like, you don't have to. No one's forcing you to buy the remaster.
Sure.
We know that the PS4 version works on the PS5.
Yep.
No one is forcing you to do literally any of these things.
Yeah.
You are arguing against a person that doesn't give a fuck.
Or it seems like a made-up scenario.
It's an absolutely made-up scenario.
It's like, what do you mean I can't have shoes for dinner? But I want them. It's like, but that's never been a thing. Like, but I wanted them. Do you hear me?
It's like, you said it could be a thing. No one said that. No one said anything like that.
No, I had a dream where I was eating combat boots with a side of fucking Brussels sprouts, and now I want it.
And you said it was great. I'm
like,
I never said any of those things.
Yeah.
Please stop.
So, like I said, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but I would honestly be interested if somebody has an argument to go into the comment section and tell me what it is, of why this should be. I mean, I agree that it would be nice if it's the new norm, but I don't understand why it would be expected. I don't know. Also, no PS1, PS2, or PS3 backwards compatibility.
Again.
Right.
Why?
No, I know. PS5 will not have any PS1, 2, or 3 backwards compatibility. I bet it's still going to be compatible with some of the, like, PS4 re-releases, like the Dark Cloud or whatever on the, they put some of the PS2
the actual
Jack
ones you can buy.
games. Yeah, I bet some of those will work.
I don't see why those wouldn't. Like, that's the thing. The thing is, again, people, why? Why would you think a PS1 game was going to work on? Oh my god.
It's the only thing. Okay. So the only I agree. I don't think I never expected that this was going to do.
There's an argument that could be made as to why you expect the PS3 one to do because of the whole Xbox thing,
right?
But that's as far back as the argument I'm willing to go. The second you go to PS2 and then PS1, I'm like, you guys are fucking crazy.
Well, so the only thing is, I think it would be because the best way to play the PlayStation 2 right now on an HD TV is technically a PS3 fatty, a first-gen PS3. So it would be nice if I could put a PS2 disc in and run it, but I didn't expect it, and it wasn't going to be the primary reason I bought a PS5.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
Like, it reminds me of an old. I don't remember. I don't even know if this was a legitimate image where it was like the Super Nintendo games work on my 3DS. Like, no, the cartridge is too big. It was like an image of like a cartridge like being trying to be put into it. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, that's the. No one. It was never going to happen. Please, what the hell, guys?
I don't know. And last but not least, the PS5 news. Really briefly, a pre-order bonus was listed for Demon's Souls when they announced Demon's Souls last week. And it's the Reaper Scythe, which there's these big Reaper dudes in Demon's Souls, and they have this scythe. The interesting thing about this Reaper Scythe, they also have taken it down. They've taken that image off.
Oh, okay.
But the interesting thing about it is that that's not a weapon in PS3 Demon's Souls.
Huh.
That weapon does not exist in PS3 Demon's Souls. So some content, I mean, it may just be as much as like pre-order bonus bullshit that It's like one weapon that they made.
Maybe, I don't know.
But it does open the door for an interesting question of, is it possible that there's a bunch of extra content that's been added to Demon Souls Remastered?
And it is a good question.
Yep. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. Michael and I are going to just keep slapping our heads and going, I don't understand. And then we're going to come back and talk about Cyberpunk 2077. So if that's why you're here, congratulations. You've gotten far enough to hear about Cyberpunk 2077 right after this. And Michael, I hope you're ready to talk about Cyberpunk 2077.
I am.
Even though
that quick opening, I thought that was a real person in front of a green screen, but then it turns out it was not.
Even though you didn't actually get a chance to watch Night City Wire episode 3, which isn't kind of that big of a deal. They talked about a few things that were kind of interesting, but it was mostly flavor, basically. So we'll go over some of the stuff that happened here. They talked about the city a lot. They had an interview where they talked about how they've really done a lot to to basically faction the city off into individual districts, and then not only that, but then just to name every single street in the city, so you can be like, hey, have you gone to fucking Shinjuku Alley? And no, I found a subquest there, and you can look it up on your map and go there.
That's fun.
And how there's a lot of verticality to it, where they've designed it to be it was new stuff was built on top of old stuff, and that you'll find elevators that end up being shortcuts to different areas in the game, and basically just kind of the amount of work that they put into this gigantic city, which is interesting because I thought about how up until now, the main thing that we've known about CD Projekt Red has been The Witcher, which has been, their cities are pretty dense, but most of The Witcher happens in big open areas between cities. So the idea that this whole thing is going to be, there's the Badlands, obviously, that's going to be out beyond that. But the idea that most of this is going to be happening in this gigantic ass kind of mega city with different districts and different stuff is really cool. It's really cool. There's also some stuff. Michael is watching this trailer, but he doesn't have any sound where they're talking about they have these kind of look like talk shows or gossip shows almost, with these super bright colors and hosts and stuff. Which
kind of reminds me of RoboCop in that way.
Yeah, I can see that, which is very different than a lot of the other stuff that they've talked about. It
is fascinating. Everything that's going on. The more you hear about Cyberpunk 2077, the more you're just how is this a thing that exists?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah. I mean, they've obviously been working on this really hard for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm sure that eventually we're going to find out that a bunch of people have been, crunched.
People died. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Some of them were now cyborgs because they had to cut off their hands to type faster.
Yeah, they had to put a fucking iPhone on their face.
Exactly.
So the other thing that they talked about quite a bit were the gangs, the various gangs that are in Night City. So they had a kind of a trailer that went over all of the different gangs. I feel like we've seen some of them so far. We saw the animals, who are super roided out.
Oh, okay.
There's a bunch of them that are very much kind of ethnic stereotypes. So there's the voodoo boys that are all Haitian hackers, and there's this kind of Latino gang that has a lot of what is the whole the death, the guys in Breaking Bad that there's the death, so the weird Christian death idol thing that you see from time to time.
Okay,
do you not know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure.
Somebody will know what I'm talking about in the comments. It's doing worship to saints, but to the god of death, but it's weirdly Christian as well. I don't really know anything about it. I've seen a lot of stuff about it. So yeah, this is those guys.
God, the more they show of it, I'm just damn. God damn.
There's also this super Second Amendment. They're called the Sixth Street or just Sixth Street. They're just these real rah-rah Americans with guns.
They're probably all college frat dudes. It's my first thought when he said Sixth Street. So
yeah. Well, because 6th Street is a famous place in Austin with a bunch of bars in it. They also talk about kind of the wasteland folks. I don't know. It's interesting. One of the things they talked about in some of the dev interviews were like asking if you could join any of the gangs. And technically, V is a merc.
Okay.
And you work for what's called Afterlife, which is like the premier merc outfit. And it's a good. This is interesting. Is they're like no gang would ever let a merc in because mercs work for money, and the gangs have like these ideologies and philosophies. Like you can get close to a gang, but you'll never be able to join one of these gangs because they're like you work for money and we work for like ideology, and so
that makes sense.
We don't want you to do the thing, but you are going to be able to get like cosmetics and clothes and weapons and stuff that are like related to the various gangs in the game. But yeah, and then the Moxes, which are seem like they're a bunch of prostitutes that basically banded together to to fucking keep people from killing them, and so they're like a gang of their own. Lots of stuff going on here, and then outside of that, there was a couple of quick things that they had. One was they had a PC case modding contest with to get like this Alienware PC, which I think is really interesting because the Alienware PC now has a 2080 Ti in it.
Oh, geez.
Even though like that's old shit now.
Yeah.
But they showed off some of these like custom cases that people have been making. There's one that has a bunch of like robot legs on it.
Okay.
They're pretty cool looking.
It's very exciting, guys.
Yeah.
Many Bothans died to bring you Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
I assume.
They also talked about like what the PC specs are going to be.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah. Minimum specs are, God damn it, Windows 7, 64, Core i5, 3570, or an AMD FX 8310, 8 gigs of RAM, and a GeForce GTX 780, 3 gig or AMD Radeon RX 470, and 70 gigs of fucking hard drive space. And then recommended is Windows 10, Core i7 4790, or an AMD Ryzen 3 3200G, 12 gigs of RAM, and GTX 1060 or Radeon R9 Fury. So
those are words you said.
Yeah. It's funny. I think my PC technically meets the minimum requirements, but I'm not going to try to play Cyberpunk.
It would be a bad idea.
I'm not going to run that shit in potato mode. I've been waiting for that game for like 5 years. I don't want that.
Keanu Reeves is going to look like the cartoon version of Ted and Bill and Ted.
Yes.
They're like, this works.
Yeah. It'd be funny if you could set it to like lower options and it was all just like cell shaded. It looked like Breath of the Wild. You're just like, oh.
Oh, geez.
Oh. And there's no lighting either. Okay, great. That's crazy.
Looks like the Wii version of Ghostbusters.
Yeah. So we also had a few other things. The thing that got me actually more excited about Cyberpunk 2077 than I've been before is they came out and said that the campaign is not going to be as long as The Witcher 3's. So let's run this down.
That could mean anything, though.
The primary story campaign of Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be shorter than the primary story campaign of The Witcher 3. And the reason for this is that CD Projekt Red has the data, and they found that like something like 75 or 80% of people that played The Witcher 3 never fucking beat it.
That's true.
And they're like,
very true.
We made this game for you to see the ending, y'all. Like, we want people to see what happens at the end of the video game. We did all the writing for it and all the choices that get integrated into the ending. And then you were just like, I'm sick of it. I'm done.
It's too much.
Too much.
It's literally too much.
So apparently the main story is going to be something like 50-ish hours. But then the side quests apparently are going to be way longer. So let's see. Let's see if I can find the actual numbers here. What did it just say there? Witcher 3, The Witcher 3 was 50 hours, 51.5 hours to complete. Yeah, apparently they're looking to like trim that down a little bit, but then all the side stuff is going to end up making it probably longer.
Here's
than
the thing: 51 hours is a lot of fucking game.
It is,
like, no matter what.
Yes,
like there's very few games I'll put 51 hours to.
Yes,
and like if that's just the main campaign, guys, like fuck, guys.
Well, so I think that like the way you're supposed to play these is to do, but see, that's not true because I think there's a bunch of shit that gets closed off before you get to the end game of The Witcher. I don't know if you can play all the way through the story of The Witcher 3 and then go back and start doing side quests after you're done.
If you do, that's a long amount of time.
Yeah. Especially because the entire time that you're trying to do the game, it's going to be just like somebody jingling their keys like, hey, there's a better sword over here. Do you want it? And you're like, well, I do, but this game is too long. And it's like, I don't know. This lady needs help. She's crying on the side of the road. You're just like, no.
Yeah, like I did all the side stuff in Spider-Man before beating that game.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm that kind of guy who's just like, I'm going to do all the side missions first, kind of thing. And if a game's main campaign is 51 hours long and there's a shit ton of side stuff as well, I'm never finishing that fucking game. Hands down. And it's true.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it depends on how good the game is. Like, this game, in addition, like a lot of games, when I get to a certain length, some games will continue to hold my attention, and some games I will just drift away from. I don't think. Okay, let's do a thought experiment. Let's do one of the famous Rage Select thought experiments. What is a 100+ hour RPG first-person shooter? Has there ever been anything that fits into that category?
That's actually the plot? No.
Like, the thing is that I get tired of the JRPG bullshit because it gets repetitive. But and somebody out there, stop getting ready to furiously type. But like, the thing is, I think that first person combat is a little bit more directly engaging than like the 100th turn-based battle that you do in Persona 5.
Well, that's the thing about like, because one of the closest things I can think of are looter shooters.
Oh, like Destiny,
and those things. People have played hundreds of hours of those games,
right?
And they're willing to, because, like you said, the repetitiveness of a shooter still relies on a lot of your reflexes.
Yeah.
Than, like you said, a turn-based one.
Right.
So you're way more engaged on it than you are if you're just like, hit attack again. Attack again.
You know what might be like Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead might be a good comparison point, because those can be very long.
Yeah. That's another good comparison.
And
especially if you do a lot of the side stuff.
Yeah. And those tended to be like engaging. Hell, man, I kept saying The Last of Us 2 was too long, but the only reason The Last of Us 2 was too long was because of the story content. I actually really enjoyed the combat all the way up to the end. I love the combat engine of The Last of Us 2. I just fucking hate the story. Like, so there have been games that have done that before, but I think it's a different proposition, right?
Yeah.
It's a different proposition when you're driving and shooting and upgrading and doing custom bespoke quests that aren't just like, I gotta get the purple rocket launcher so I can finish the raid on Sunday with my buddies. Like, Red Dead, I think, is probably the closest thing, or like Grand Theft Auto. And I played, those were long games. I played all the way through those. So
I think with The Witcher, the reason I said I probably wouldn't do that is because I also heard from a lot of people who even like The Witcher that the controls weren't always the best either way.
That's weird and debatable. I don't know, but I do think I'm more sci-fi than I am fantasy. This is sci-fi. I'm more shooter than I am turn-based, even though I like me some turn-based.
Yeah.
This is more shooter. I think this is, like, in a weird way, custom designed to be the sort of game, like, this might actually be the sort of game that's one of those, like, my God, I've never played anything like this before. I'm
hoping that's
like, Red Dead 2 was good, but I felt like Red Dead 2 was like, it's like Red Dead 1, but way bigger. But it's kind of the same. You're riding
more
horses.
complicated.
Yeah. You're shooting, you're buying ammo for your guns, you're fucking running around with Dutch, and he's doing dumb shit.
He's got a plan.
He's got a plan. Yep. John Marsden is there being a douche.
As he does.
Right. This could definitely be something where it's like, my God, I've never seen anything like this before. So
it's very exciting.
Well, I tell you what else I've never seen anything like it before, and that's Nier. No, that's not true. I've seen Nier before. So we're not doing Tokyo Game Show, but we did get this one. This is one of the very first things from Tokyo Game Show was they put out a trailer for Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139 ... which is the re-release of the original Nier on the next gen platforms. Like, specifically, this is going to be coming to the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. No word of the current gen or of the I guess
The
to
next
be
gen,
next
I
gen,
guess, yeah.
right? This is obviously a port slash remaster. Not a port. It is a remaster of. Was it a PS3? Was Nier a PS3 game? I think Nier was a PS3 game.
I think it was an early PS3 game, if I recall.
Which everybody loved Nier Automata, even though I feel like Nier Automata was good. I just don't know if it was as good as people got all crazy.
It's a crazy fucking game.
It is
really.
a
I think
game.
it's the main reason people loved it as much as they did.
Yeah. For those of you who have forgotten, Nier the franchise is technically a spin-off of Ending 7 from Drakengard.
Yeah, actually, yeah, something like that. Something insane.
At one of the endings of Drakengard, a dragon shows up in modern-day Tokyo, and this game technically takes place in that universe. So does Nier Automata, but this takes place way before Nier Automata. I have not played Nier in a long, long time. I have heard that the combat in Nier is really repetitive and boring and kind of like mind-numbing.
There's a reason why the first Nier it wasn't all that talked about. Like
Yeah.
one of the things that got talked about the most was something that you brought up before we started recording, which is that in America there's a different protagonist than there was in Japan.
Right. They decided to make a grizzled older male protagonist for the Western release of Nier, and then in the Japanese version, it was like a younger kid, and this one's going to have the younger kid in it.
Yeah.
So, like in the Western version, the guy was trying to save his daughter, and then in the Japanese version, he was trying to save his sister. This is going to be that.
It's a very strange decision.
I don't know. We also got a release date with this trailer, which is April of next year.
Oh, okay.
Which is why I was a little surprised. I mean, I guess there's going to be a lot of stuff that lags behind in the current generation of stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
a lot of these people have been working on this way before.
Yeah,
They probably were even able to get a what are they called? Dev kits?
yeah.
Yeah, to even get a dev kit for the next systems.
I mean, the trailer. This trailer is a lot of like singing and then just like pans around an environment. The environments look good.
Yeah.
I just hope that it's a little bit more engaging. There was a reason they brought Platinum in to do the combat for Nier Automata.
That's true. Yes, it's very true.
As near as I can tell, none of the previous games, be they Drakengard or Nier, that Yoko Taro has done, have really had just like fantastic combat.
Yeah,
They've had bug nuts stories that are fucking weird.
interesting.
Like, did you know that guy with the moon face? You never played Nier Automata, did you?
No.
That one character that they show in here with like the moon head. He's in Nier Automata, but he's just a truck with this little mask.
Guy. Yeah.
He's just like his head is on a little car that drives around.
If I remember correctly, somebody I can't remember who was wearing that face at like conventions and stuff.
Well, Yoko Taro wears it when they do.
That's right.
When they do stuff, yeah.
He's the one who does it.
So, yeah, next April we're getting Nier. We might also be getting at some point in the future Metal Gear Solid. So
You guys can't see it, but I'm rubbing my hands like that guy.
he's
in
like
the meme.
he's like a fiendish supervillain. So okay, we've got two stories here. All right. Story number one is that in the ratings for the Taiwan Digital Games Rating Committee website, there seems to be a rating for Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2 Subsistence on the PC.
Huh.
Now, technically, Metal Gear Solid 1 already exists on the PC. I know because I have the CDs for it.
Oh, okay.
But this was some old ass
Yeah.
port. So the one possibility is that they're just going to clean all this stuff up and release it on the PC, a la like Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Which would be pretty good. Because the Metal Gear Solid HD collection, that was on the 360 as well as the PS3, right?
Yes, and I only had 2 and 3.
Okay.
And Peace Walker.
Right. But those, I think the 360 versions are more easily able to be ported to a x86 architecture than the Cell PS3 versions, obviously.
I think so. Yeah.
Now, there's a second rumor, the more interesting rumor, from Red Gaming Tech, which is a YouTube channel that says that they're going to be remaking the first one. the first MGS, and then they're going to be up-resing, cleaning up, and repackaging 2, 3, and 4 for a big-ass collector's edition for next-gen consoles. One of the rumors even says it's going to be a PS5 exclusive, which, you know, my philosophy in life, Michael, is if Metal Gear is on your thing, I will buy the thing.
That's 100% true.
So I will buy that thing. I will buy the thing that has a Metal Gear Solid on. It's why I bought a PS3. Objectively speaking, at the time when the PS3 was released, the Xbox 360 was a better game console to own.
It's true.
But I was like, if Metal Gear's on that, that's what I'm buying. I don't care how fucked up or janky or whatever it is.
I literally bought a PS3 way after the fact originally just so I could play Metal Gear Solid 4 again.
Yeah.
Literally just the one game.
Just the one game.
I spent $150 to buy Metal Gear Solid 4 again.
This is before Demon Souls was even a thing.
Actually, you know what's really funny about Metal Gear Solid 4? I beat Metal Gear Solid 4 3 times before I ever owned a PS3.
Oh, like at somebody else's house or something?
I went to my cousin's house and sat there and played through the entirety of Metal Gear Solid 4 over a weekend because he knew how much of a Metal Gear fan I was. When I moved to San Antonio, my friend got a PS3 as a graduation present. And then I sat there and then played Metal Gear Solid 4 and then did it again. And then I did. So I didn't own Metal Gear. I'd beaten it 3 times before I ever even owned it.
So I've talked in the past that I used to have this roommate that used to just get high and watch me play video games all the time. And she got super into Metal Gear Solid 3 because I was playing it to a point where she literally moved out of town. And then at one point we like made the plans for me to drive to where she lived with my PlayStation over like a weekend and just come to her house, sit down, and play MGS4 from start to finish so she could see it. And she was like going to pay for all the food and I could like sleep on her couch. And I was like, all right, yeah, man, sure, road trip. We got a reason to play MGS4. I have said for years, this is literally a Jeff wish list thing, that there are good versions of every Metal Gear game to play that look good and sound good, except for one.
That's true.
One still has the digital PS1 head shaking back and forth. And let me just say, I know that Twin Snakes exists. I'm not a fan of the way that they changed the cutscenes in Twin Snakes.
Well, I've always said that about Twin Snakes, because as much as people are like, well, they remade it and it's Twin Snakes, this is the best way to explain the changes of Twin Snakes. Twin Snakes is if a soldier was telling another soldier the legend of Solid Snake instead of the actual thing that happened.
Yeah.
Because like there are whole cutscenes where he's doing like Matrix fucking backflips over things, and you're just like, what's happening?
Go compare the end of the Harrier fight in Twin Snakes and in the original. And the thing is that normally I wouldn't be the kind of person who wanted the less restrained version, but the dude who made Versus did the cutscenes for that. They are over the goddamn. Yeah, they're over the goddamn top.
They're so over the top.
They're way over the top.
Although ironically, the one that's not over the top is the one that's over the top in the original one.
Which is
when he first sees the tank.
Oh,
because he does that like backflip or whatever in the original, but in the Twin Snakes version, he just gets shot.
Yeah, so I mean, and like I'm not begrudging the Twin Snakes, but I feel like every time this comes up, people are like, but the Twin Snakes, and I'm like, so I will make you a counter argument. If they release the Twin Snakes on Steam and PS4, I would buy it and play it. But it's also only available on the fucking GameCube. Yeah. There's not an HD version of Twin Snakes, and I know Dolphin's a thing, but it doesn't emulate perfectly. So.
My other issue with Twin Snakes is it has a different soundtrack.
It also wasn't made for the first person and for the shoot 'em up, the hold up mechanic. It makes the game like ridiculously easy. Adding that whole mechanic in, because the game was designed from the ground up without that mechanic. And so I don't know. In any case, if this happens, I will buy it.
No,
I mean, you know, if it happens, I will buy it.
I will buy it. I will play it.
Yep.
I will play it again.
Yep.
And then I'll play it again.
Yep. Yep.
Because I fucking love Metal Gear Solid 1.
It would be really nice to have like a really good polished version of Metal Gear Solid 1.
It'd be great. And it would be great to have Snake and Liquid yelling at each other again, because I miss those two.
Richard! Oh, wait, that's a different game.
Liquid.
But before we move on from this, let me just say, I do not think that this will happen without Konami fucking it up.
Oh, no, absolutely.
I do not think that this will happen without Konami fucking it all up and down and left and right.
Konami's not a company I trust. So if this is a true thing, I'm expecting all of the issues coming from them, making this a fucking terrible game.
Yeah, like, oh no, we totally did the up-res on it, and it cost $60, and then you have to buy silencers for your gun with real-world money, and they wear out after 3 shots.
I'm expecting it to be one of those half-ass remakes, if it is in fact being made by Konami.
Yeah, where it just looks like garbage.
It looks like a PS2, like they just make it look like a PS2 game instead.
Yeah,
or a PS3 game at most.
I don't know. If they could just do it, if they just did it, it'd be fine. You want money, Konami? I will give you my money. Like, just fucking do it. Let's see. Speaking of brand new projects, this is really interesting. The folks who made Amnesia, the horror game, have put the source code for Amnesia: The Dark Descent and Machine for Pigs out.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like you just download that shit from GitHub. Now you can't just like repackage it and then put it back out again, because apparently it's like, you have to, it's under the GPL 3 license, so you can't just like take their game.
It's a terms and service thing. Yeah.
Right. They were very much clear about like, this does not mean that you could just take that Amnesia is free. This means you can take it and like dig into the code, and if people want to do mods and like things like that. This is not just like, here, have this game for free.
Yeah, you can't just make another game with our stuff, basically.
Yeah. But it's interesting. We don't normally see this a lot of times. And
I love when it happens, though, because you get some really, really creative people doing some really cool stuff with it.
Maybe somebody could take the original Amnesia and make it into a good video game.
Turn it into Metal Gear Solid.
Turn it into Metal Gear Solid. Yes, that's right. And take the source code for Amnesia: The Dark Descent and remake Metal Gear Solid in it.
I'm cool with it.
Put it out on the PS5. Sure, do whatever, man. I don't give a shit. Let's see. Speaking of spooky stuff, we also got a big leak where apparently there is like a huge chunk of like zombie character models that have been updated into Red Dead Redemption 2 the online.
That's neat.
And people are thinking that apparently there's going to be like a big spooky Halloween Red Dead Redemption 2 event that's going to happen.
That could be cool
for the online. There's also like a bunch of like weird cultists and shit. Michael, will this get you to play Red Dead Redemption 2 online?
Hell no, I haven't been doing it at all.
Yeah.
If I started it then, I would be the dude with like the one gun that sucks real bad.
Yeah. Well, you gotta start somewhere. I mean,
I haven't touched it since it's first started.
I'm just putting off. I have to replay that game, and I'm putting it off.
Yeah, like, no, I can't blame you.
Continuing to put it off.
It's so fucking long.
Put it off and put it off and put it off. Let's see. Speaking of horrible zombies coming back from the grave, BlizzCon is going to be a thing in 2021 with BlizzConline.
Good luck with that, guys.
Yeah.
You guys have seriously fucked over so many of your own fan base.
February 19th and 20th of 2021, Blizzard is going to be doing the Blizzard Online thing. It is unclear yet whether it's going to be like a ticketed thing or whether it's going to be I don't know, like the international buy a pass thing, or it's just going to be free or what?
Yeah, my manager and a couple of my coworkers go every single year to BlizzCon. So yeah. I'm curious as to what their thoughts on this are. I think its tagline should just be, don't you guys have phones to watch this kind of thing.
Was that last year?
I think it was last year or the year before that.
No, I think it was the year before that, because last year wasn't it like Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4? It was the year before that. Like,
because last year was the whole like...
Blitzchung?
Yeah, it was the whole fucking... insane shit, yeah.
Yep. Back when wearing a mask on a live stream would get you banned.
Yep.
As opposed to the other way around. Yeah. Also, I know that you were really worried about this other event. So we have TGS, we've had E3, we've had all the different things. What's the one other live event that you couldn't live without in 2020 unless you knew that it was actually going to be happening, Michael? The other video game event.
Oh, video game event.
From 2020 that you were so worried wasn't going to happen because of all the pandemic stuff.
Is E3 coming?
E3? No, we already did. Oh, well, yeah.
We never did E3.
No, we didn't do E3.
We never actually did E3.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, is E3 trying something?
No,
Are they trying to come back?
Michael, the world famous Game Awards.
Oh, Jesus.
The
fuck.
Game Awards, man.
Oh.
December 10th, we got the digital version of the Game Awards.
I was hoping this wasn't going to happen still.
In a weird way, I feel it's like 2020's really been Jeff Keighley's biggest year.
It really has, actually.
That motherfucker's everywhere.
That dude's all over the place. Yet he couldn't get an Xbox Series X.
Yeah. He was in the Devolver Direct.
Yeah, he was. I love Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, December 10th, Game Awards is going to return as a digital live stream. I'm wondering if, because it's a live stream and they don't have to rent an auditorium, if they could fucking slow the shit down for 5 minutes so that it's not just like, and best thing is X, and best other thing is Y, and the best other thing is Z, and best other thing is this. All right, so here's a trailer. We know why you're here. We know why you're here. You don't
I'm
give a shit.
expecting it to be that thing, like that gag in certain things where like, and this list, and it just fast forwards real fast.
Oh, right.
I'm expecting to be Jeff Keighley, like, and the winners are, and then they just go like that. Like,
all right.
Oh, and here's the trailer for Art Gotham Knights or something.
45 minutes of trailers. Here you go. Well, the real question is going to be, like, what will they show that we don't already know about?
That's true.
Like,
They've been
it's been a
fucking
lot
telling
this
us
year.
They've been willing to tell us about every goddamn thing on the planet for like a year.
Yeah. I mean, think about this year where we finally found out what like Rocksteady is doing, and Batman is back, and like
kind of back.
kind of back. Yeah, like Cyberpunk's coming out, Demon Souls getting remastered, fucking all kinds of shit.
Like there hasn't really been any rumors of anything else that hasn't already been said.
I guess I know what they could put there. I know what they could do.
What?
They could show me fucking Bayonetta 3. Goddamn Bayonetta 3's been
I
MIA.
guess that's true. Or maybe the Wonderful 101 DLC. They keep saying they're going to do that, so we haven't heard anything about that in a while.
Or the Metroid game that they announced.
Oh yeah,
After Bayonetta 3.
Fucking Metroid Prime 4, 4, 5,
4,
That's
8.
I think it's 4.
12.
And then the remaster.
Are they remastering Prime?
They're remastering 1, 2, and 3, and they're making 4.
Oh.
Because I think all that stuff's being done by the studio that's here in Austin.
I bet we're not going to see any of that until next year when they announce that new Switch. There's going to be a new Switch.
Because I remember that was the news. Apparently, was that they're going to make 4, and that I think the rumor was that they're going to remaster the other 3. I don't know if that was the rumor. I don't remember what was actually announced because that's how long ago it was. I don't even remember what was the actual announcement.
I just want Bayonetta 3, man. Like, you guys said that was a thing, and then I'm like, hey, what about Bayonetta 3 over here, man? I'm just waiting for that. They're like, new Smash Fighters. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, Mario Brothers. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, what about Metroid? You like Metroid? And I'm like, I sort of give a shit, but what about fucking Bayonetta 3? How long is her hair? I just need to see what her haircut is. You can just show me that.
But what about Bob?
Right. That's still a thing. Everything else is coming out.
That's true.
But not that.
There are things that were announced that we haven't seen anything on still.
Gears Tactics is coming out on the Xbox finally.
I guess it is.
In a few months or in a month. So yeah, Game Awards.
Good for them, I guess.
Speaking of new shit, so you remember when all the devs left Skullgirls? They basically Lab Zero. They basically all banded together to create a new studio called Future Club.
Ooh.
And it's supposed to be a co-op, which is interesting. So
that is fascinating, actually.
Because they had such trouble previously with like upper management shitting on everybody. They decided that it's supposed to be everybody owns a piece of the studio, that they're going to kind of collectively decide things amongst them.
It's a nice move, but you got to be careful. You're going to end up like Star Citizen.
That's true.
Never make a thing.
I actually didn't know when I was reading this article on Kotaku about this that apparently the studio that made Dead Cells pays every single person who works there the same amount.
Really?
So there can't be any raises unless everybody gets a raise.
That's amazing.
Which is really kind of an interesting concept. But what's actually super funny about this is now that they've broken out, like the IP holder of Skullgirls and Indivisible could contract Future Club to do updates for that, cutting Lab Zero out of the games that they technically created.
It'd be a good move.
It would be a good move.
Didn't they say they would do that though?
Yes,
if I remember correctly.
Yes, there's totally a story where the IP holder was like, "Yeah, we will totally like get somebody else to continue development on here. We don't want anything to do with that guy, the one guy." Anymore. It's
a good move if they end up doing that. If they end up being true to their word.
It's a very nice story for 2020, right? Like, guy was being shitty. Everyone quit. They created their own company, and then the people who own the IP are going to let them keep working on.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on in this video on the right side of this page. It's a goose with a Minecraft sword.
It's the goose from Untitled Goose Game taking the Minecraft sword out of the
Breath of the Wild
Korok forest it's probably just like a bunch of mods, right?
It has to be.
It's a bunch of mods where it's Untitled Goose Game. I think it's just a bunch of different mod videos.
That's an amazing mod.
Anyway, let's see. Speaking of fighting games, we got some weird news where apparently Mortal Kombat 11 got data mined and put up very briefly that there are what appear to be vocal samples in Mortal Kombat 11 from Christopher Lambert, who played Raiden in the movie, Lyndon Ashby, who played Johnny Cage, and Bridget Wilson-Sampras, who played Sonya in the actual Mortal Kombat movie that came out a while back.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It makes me wonder whether they're getting ready to do their next round of DLC, and one of those DLCs is going to be adding in, because the thing is that Scorpion and Sub-Zero didn't talk in the movie.
No, they didn't.
So who else would you need to basically be able to recreate? What if they did the backgrounds and shit too, right? You could just play Mortal Kombat the movie.
The first movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Who else was it? Jax was in there, but he wasn't.
Well, he's in the sequel.
He wasn't in the tournament. Yeah. Katana. They would need the lady that played Katana.
They'd have to get the lady who played Katana. They would have to get the. I forgot his name. The guy who does Liu Kang.
Oh yeah,
I forgot his name off the top. Robin Show, I think is his name.
I forgot about Liu Kang.
Of course you did.
Oh no. Well, because they already have Shang Tsung, right?
Oh, and they also have to get fucking Kano. Kano's Australian as fuck voice actor.
Yeah.
Kano's Australian.
All I care about, to be honest, all I really want is I want like an emote or a finisher or like an intro move with Raiden where Christopher Lambert goes, hey. That's all I really want. It's that weird little laugh.
This is totally a thing they would do too, because in Injustice 1, there was an Arrow outfit for that has voiced by the guy who was the Green Arrow. The
TV show?
Yeah.
Oh,
with an actual costume.
Yeah, so that would be really cool if their next round of DLC was like all just like cheesy Mortal Kombat the movie. Oh, and put the music in too with the song in.
I'd pay good money to use Christopher Lambert as Raiden.
I might actually use Raiden. I fucking hate Raiden.
He's difficult.
And what if the alternate costume was James Remar from
Oh my god,
2?
That would be amazing. Same with Shao Kahn. You get the guy who played him in that movie.
Oh man, and
Sindel,
you'll be the one.
You will die.
Yeah,
whatever the fuck she said. I can't remember the line. It's a stupid fucking line. She's like, "Mother, your lies." Like, yes, but you will die. Right. I think that's what it was. Something stupid as shit. That movie's bad, guys. It's so fucking bad.
It'd be great. Basically, Mortal Kombat the movie to compete with like Street Fighter the movie, the game, but like 25 years after.
Oh my
the
god,
fact.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's see. In other throwback news, Chips Challenge is free on Steam. Now, I don't expect you to know what Chips Challenge is.
I don't know what that
Chips
means.
Challenge is? Okay.
Is it a Chippendales thing?
No, it's a little puzzle game where you have a little guy named Chip, or no, you have a little character. I don't remember if it's Chip or not. I didn't actually play this either.
It's probably damn Chip.
Came out on the links, and it was like a little logic puzzle thing where you've got to like, get the thing to go through the door to unlock this key to move the wall, blah, 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 blah. But this was in the Microsoft Entertainment Pack 4. So back in the old Windows 3.1 days, Microsoft used to sell these like game collection packs. There was one that was like called Jezball, where you had to like, it was like you had bouncing balls, and then when you clicked, it was basically what's that arcade game where you'd like draw a line to block off sections, kicks or whatever, QIX.
No idea.
Anyway, Microsoft used to do this. There's some people out there that are just like, oh shit, I remember all that. They used to sell these little mini game collections on like Windows 3.1 that were just, it was like a white box with all these like the different games on the cover, and there were like these crappy little mini games, and then you would install them, and then you would play these crappy mini games. Chips Challenge is one of them. It was apparently originally a Lynx game. I didn't actually know that.
Oh, that's interesting.
But you can now play it for free on Steam if you want.
That's neat.
So little throwback. I'm
Good
see
for
if
you
I can
guys.
find the box art for Microsoft Entertainment Pack 4. Let's see if is this what it had in it? Dr. Blackjack, chess, Chips Challenge, go figure, Jazzball. That's what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Maxwell's Maniac and Tic Tac Drop.
Oh, jeez.
And they were just all old ass fucking Microsoft games. Yeah,
It's so weird.
used to be Windows didn't play that many games. Like
true.
You played your games in fucking DOS like a man.
Yeah, it changed one day.
Yep. Load himem.sys, y'all. Set your sound blaster IRQs. Speaking of old ass shit that nobody plays anymore, let's talk about Disintegration. So,
Oh my god.
you remember that Disintegration game that was made by the ex-Halo guy? They were like teasing it for a long time.
That was like what, a month ago?
I kept asking if you were interested in it. I think we played like a little bit of it. Did we play it?
We did, and I was like, "This is weird."
Yeah, where it was like you flew a ship, but then you had like a bunch of little creeps that you could send out to do stuff, and apparently the multiplayer on that shit is getting like fully and completely shut down. It's been out for like a month and a half.
That's the thing.
Like that.
It came out like not that long ago.
Yeah.
A few months is what this article says.
November 17th is when it's going away, and basically that means they did have a single-player game, like a story.
Yeah.
But, all the multiplayer is done. There was even an in-game store for, like, cosmetics. That's all getting shut down. This is going to be, like, one of the fastest failures I've ever seen. But if the nobody's playing it, right, then, like, nobody can get a match.
Yeah.
Then you don't
Might
leave
as
it up.
well.
Like,
Yeah.
why are you paying to leave it up?
This is faster than Battleborn went down.
Yep, it is.
Battleborn lasted a little while.
Let's see. I don't know when it originally released. Let's see if we can find out when it originally.
Because I remember the first time they announced it, I'm like, well, this could be cool depending on what it is. And then by the time it actually
June. It was June when it came out.
like by the time they even showed what it was, it's like, well, this is weird.
3 months.
And I was like, well, maybe it could play well. And then we played it, and I was like, I don't like this at all. And because everything was really slow as well, it was just weird.
It was
I
a very
didn't like
strange
it at
game.
all.
Yep.
June, that's so fucking crazy.
So Disintegration has not managed to pull itself out of its nosedive.
Yeah, poor bastard.
But hey, on the other hand, No Man's Sky is still going strong. We got No Man's Sky Origins this week. We got a new trailer. Every trailer for No Man's Sky makes No Man's Sky look like the best game that's ever been made at this point.
Every trailer for No Man's Sky now makes like the original E3 trailers for No Man's Sky look like a terrible game.
Look like garbage. Yeah. Well, so this update is putting in some different new biomes, some different biome diversity. It's actually adding new planets. It's adding giant bugs. It's adding weird like monoliths that you can explore. It's adding some new status effects. They redid the clouds. And then, of course, this particular trailer they did for Origins has like the mech suit, the bioship, like all of the building stuff in it. It's just such a different game now.
By the way, guys, none of this stuff is like paid DLC.
No.
These guys have been giving this stuff away for free since this game came out.
Yep.
That's fucking insane.
I mean, they made that one game that came out like a week ago. There was like a little Jawa puzzle-y game type of thing. Came out on the Epic Game Store and Switch, I think, or something. But yeah, No Man's Sky still there. I believe No Man's Sky is also on Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure on that one.
But yeah, if you ever needed a reason to go check this game out, like it just keeps kind of getting better and better. And I have a feeling that No Man's Sky at this point probably has enough people that are playing it like they're like weird super fans now.
Yeah.
That it's never going away. Like it's going to be a thing.
They dug their way out and they've stayed up this entire time, and I'm so grateful for that they were able to do that.
Yeah.
Because every time I hear anything about the actual studio, like it couldn't have happened to a better studio.
Yeah. Yeah. It seemed all right. It seems like they did good. They did good.
They did great.
Like that game. Okay. The main thing at this point is the game that we see in this trailer is worth $60.
Absolutely.
So, and it's only gone down in price since it came out.
It's goddamn. I fucking good for them, guys. I really have to keep saying it. Good for them.
I wonder if they'll put out a PS5 Series X version.
That's a good point. I don't know.
It.
Or maybe it'll just run on it. It probably won't lose frame rate, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe it can only run better. Is really if it ends up on that thing.
True. We also got Somewhere Matt Frank's ears are burning because we also found out that Override 2, the sequel to Mech City Brawl, is going to be getting not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Ultraman characters.
Yes.
Which is just weird and nuts. Like
it's nuts, but also really cool.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Apparently, they're going to be the characters from the Netflix show.
Yes.
And they're going to be coming in some like pack drops later. In the deluxe edition, we'll have them.
Like apparently Ultraman himself will be the only thing that's out when it comes out.
Right.
But the other 3 will slowly.
And I don't remember what their names are. They're just like
Ultraman, other Ultraman,
third
enemy of
Ultraman, and then
thing that's not Godzilla.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty
I
exciting.
never saw the Netflix show.
I tried watching it and I turned it off halfway through the first episode.
I heard it wasn't good. A lot of people told me it wasn't good. Even Matt Frank told me it wasn't good.
Yeah, I don't know. We also got a trailer for Minecraft in VR, which really makes me want to bust out my VR headset because, as I've said before, I've played Minecraft in VR and it works really well in VR.
Which is good.
It's a very basic game, so it's not really like disorienting or anything. You just do your thing. There's not a lot of like things to remember or button configurations that you have to keep in your head.
If I was a person that was really into Minecraft, I could see myself just basically never going outside ever again.
But Michael, you have to be into Minecraft if you're into video games. We talked about this on
apparently it's the law.
Creeping Winter update.
I never did. I just couldn't do it, guys.
Yeah,
I tried. I just couldn't do it.
All right.
This was years ago, so maybe I don't know.
Maybe try it again. I didn't get it until the console version because on the PC it was just like you had to know like how to put the sticks in the grid in order to make a thing. And
I played it when the console one came out, and I just wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah.
Although I think I said it was like a demo or something I played.
Yeah, well, maybe Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2 is more your speed.
I get it.
What?
Speed.
I don't know. You like the Crash Team Racing or whatever it was.
Yeah,
like,
but that's because like that was a remake of a game I played as a child.
Well,
I never heard the best things about these games to begin with.
Nickelodeon Kart Racers. Are these not remakes of games from the PS2?
No, these are games that they keep making more of, kind of thing.
What? This is not a current generation video game. Look at the graphics of it. It looks like garbage.
No, apparently it is. There is an arcade version of this, actually.
Okay.
It's at the Mr. Gaddy's in South Park Meadows, actually.
What? Yeah. All right. Yeah. So apparently, if you want Nickelodeon Kart Racers, they got like Ninja Turtles and Avatar and Invader
Zim and Hey Arnold.
Some YouTuber that's like a
never heard of.
Nickelodeon YouTuber. So
you'll be disappointed when you see JoJo is in Kart Racer, only to find out it's a YouTuber.
And let's see. From there, we got probably you're more excited for.
I'm very excited for
Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time launch trailer.
Oh yeah. It's retconning all of the Crash Bandicoots after 3.
Oh, okay.
But kind of. It's a whole alternate reality thing that they're playing with.
Cool.
So I'm curious as to how this story is actually going to go.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that if the difficulty is reasonable, then I will play it. And if the difficulty is unreasonable, then I will maintain my Crash Bandicoot stance that I have at this point. So
this is pretty much my plan for October, for the most part.
It's Crash Bandicoot?
Well, for the beginning of the month, at least. I don't remember what else comes out this month, or this upcoming month.
Star Wars Squadrons.
Yeah, but does it have Crash Bandicoot in it?
No. No, it doesn't. It's Star Wars, not Crash Bandicoot.
No, I'm actually more excited for this personally, but that's only because it's not like I'm not super into multiplayer as much as I used to be.
Yeah.
So I do like the idea, and I like the idea of 4 different playable characters in this.
Well, it looks really good. It's very pretty. I like this trailer a lot. I really hope that it's not just like obscenely difficult because I'm not about to play the same level in Crash Bandicoot more than twice to beat it.
Which is fair.
Yeah. I don't want to play the Dark Souls of fucking Super Mario 64. That's not what I'm interested in life. Let's see. All right, here's that thing I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Mike Bithell, the man who made John Wick Hex, which is the worst one, Volume, Thomas Was Alone, Subsurface Circular, and I think that's it, is creating a game called The Solitaire Conspiracy. This is a solitaire spy game that's coming out in October.
This is a real game, by the way.
I have no idea what the fuck this is. I mean, it's not like solitaire, like Windows Solitaire. It's not from the Windows Game Collection pack.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of other wacky solitaire, but there's like a bunch of weird spy characters and that guy that I hate.
And Greg Miller shows up in the campaign part for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's happening?
There's like a skirmish mode. It's like Gwent meets solitaire with super spies and Greg Miller. And I'm like, what?
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to play it. I'll play the fuck out of it.
Honestly, I'd be more excited if it was all Archer spies.
I don't know. It's just like This is what happens when certain game developers who just have like money and just decide that they want to do something fucking crazy, and that's how you get the solitaire conspiracy.
Well, what I love about it is
wackadoo guy
is it sounds like the idea that somebody has when they're like, we need something with an established brand but doesn't cost money.
Yeah.
And somebody was playing solitaire in the background. They're like, perfect. And then they went from there.
Do it. Make it happen.
They were watching James Bond while playing solitaire and was like, but what if?
What if James Bond was solitaire? It's very strange. It's really strange. You should all go watch the trailer for it because it's really bizarre. Let's see. And then we also got the launch trailer, story trailer for Serious Sam 4, which kind of makes Serious Sam 4 look bad to me.
It looks like a 360 game.
Yeah.
It looks like, okay, how do I say this? It looks like Duke Nukem Forever, but even more badly made.
I can see that. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look very good, y'all. Like, the graphics kind of look bad. The shaders and lighting look bad. Like, everything looks too bright and snappy.
It's fucking weird looking.
Also, I don't like Serious Sam. Just seems like he's Duke Nukem's long lost stepbrother or something.
He's less gigantic than than I'm used to. And the sunglasses thing, it bothers me way more than I thought it would.
I told Michael this when we started watching the trailer. Half of them are wearing sunglasses, and the sunglasses have like no reflections and no texture. They're just big, dark, black squares like glued to their head.
And all the character animations look really bad.
They look old. They look old. I don't know.
Which is a shame because I liked Serious Sam 2 a lot, and I think I played 3 as well. Because there were these big, like, sprawling, like, action pieces.
Yeah.
And they, like, sure, they weren't the best looking, but they were good for what they were at that time.
Right.
This isn't anything that's even decent for this time is my issue with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I'm sure I'm hoping it'll play well, but looking at it, it's going to be like Marvel's Capcom Infinite, where I'm like, this is just hard to look at, but it plays well, but it's just difficult to look at.
I'm not sure if I'm going to, I mean, it depends on what the release schedule looks like, but if there are other things to play, I think I might not play this.
It's probably a good idea, to be honest.
Because it just looks kind of boo. Also boo, Nintendo accidentally put out announced the Kirby Fighters 2.
Yeah.
They accidentally put it on their store, and they just said, fuck it, and released it. So we got a release trailer for Kirby Fighters 2, which is the co-op Kirby kind of boss fighty game.
Yeah. Like you fight different bosses with different versions of his power-ups.
Yeah.
Different colored Kirbys. And you can also fight each other.
This is, originally he said, well, this is a mode in one of the 3DS games that then got spun off into its own title and beefed up a little bit. Now there's a Switch thing.
That's exactly what it is, kind of thing.
So,
and it's just weird. Like,
yeah,
I think I don't know. I never was really all that interested in this idea, only because it's like when you set Kirby to only be one power, it just isn't all that interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of the whole reason to have Kirby is to have multiple powers. I don't know. It doesn't seem. I'm just not really feeling this.
I can see kids playing the shit out of this though.
Absolutely. So you already know this by now, but if you didn't watch today's video, surprise! Freedom Fighters is a thing. They up-resed and basically made compatible Freedom Fighters, the old IO game, and put it on GOG, Steam, and the Epic Games Store.
As seen on Hitman 2.
Yes, it was one of the arcade games in the South American level in Hitman 2. I think it might show up in Hitman 1, but I have to go look.
It shows up in the bank level. That much I know. Because the IT people are playing it. Because that was the first time I noticed it. When I don't remember if we were playing it or not, but I remember seeing like, hey, Freedom Fighters.
Yeah. Well, I know that I'm pretty sure they're playing it in Colorado. There's a place in Colorado where there's two guys playing the video game in the back room, and I'm pretty sure that they're playing that as well. Anyway, Freedom Fighters is a crazy-ass game that IO put out a long time ago where you start out as a plumber and then you turn into like the hero of the resistance. It's got a lot of weird shit going for it. Go watch the video that we put up today.
I actually still think it, like, honestly, even after what we played, I think it was one of those PS2 games that, the story-wise, I think it holds up really well.
Yeah. I think it was fine to play. It's an older game.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to.
You
You just have to get used to older mechanics is really what it comes
it's
down
like
to.
watching an 80s movie and complaining about the special effects. Why did they just use CGI?
Well, I think the difference is that at least with that you're not having to go into a whole different mode of thinking to rewatch that game, to rewatch that movie.
True. But it's also like $10,
which is not a lot.
Yeah. I highly recommend.
I kind of hope I hope it's re-released on consoles too, because I'll buy it.
I wish they would do just a little bit more work on it. I wish they do a little bit of cleanup.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of seem to like wrap it up in DOSBox, turn up the resolution and call it a day. Maybe a little bit more. Like seeing the seams on the weird where they've pieced the words together. That's just like
it was really weird.
Maybe fix that. Maybe fix that part.
Minimum. That'd be nice.
Minimum. And then maybe like the mouse speed when I go into menu, so I don't have to like pick it up and put it down, and pick it up and put it down.
That's the thing you guys won't be able to see in the video is the sound is him like consistently slamming his arm.
Up and down. Yep. Let's see. Okay, so you remember how earlier we were talking about Spider-Man and how people wanted it to come to the next-gen system for free?
Uh-huh.
Well, for all those people, good news, not about Spider-Man, but if you have the best game about a shark that eats people called Maneater, Maneater's getting free upgrade from current gen, next gen.
That's pretty cool, actually. Mm-hmm. It was on sale not that long ago. I don't remember if it still is or not.
It's getting 4K 60 FPS, some lighting stuff, a little bit of upgrades. Basically, I feel like the upgrades that they're getting are the PC sliders got turned all the way up.
That's what a lot of these tend to feel like. So
yeah,
hopefully they run really well.
Maneater's really fun, y'all. You should totally play Maneater. If you haven't played Maneater, Maneater's good. Also, Observer System Redo, which is another current gen to next gen upgrade. It's that Rucker Hauer cyberpunk game that made me and Amanda want to throw up when we played it. Is going to be a launch title for next gen systems.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep. November 10th on the Xbox Series X and 12th on the PlayStation 5. If you want to get your Rucker Hauer on, you can do that. I've always kind of wondered about going back to that. Something about the frame rate when we were playing it made us both feel like physically nauseous, which obviously doesn't happen to me, or I would have talked about it by this point. But yeah. Speaking of next gen, hey, you remember that Sword and Sorcery, the Super Brothers Jet the Far Shore game?
Oh, yeah.
Airplane, little spaceships and stuff. 2021. It's supposed to come this year, but it's coronavirus pushed it out 2021.
It's going to happen a lot.
Yeah. So we're not going to be getting that. I think that was supposed to be around the launch window.
I think so.
But they need a little bit more time. So that's going to happen. Okay, I don't know what Among Us is, but apparently everybody's playing it. Among Us is like a 2-year-old Steam game that because of Twitch streaming, everybody's like super into now.
Yeah, so everybody's playing it. Like I literally saw a YouTube video this morning of somebody playing it.
There were a bunch of people on the Discord last night that were playing it, and I didn't have anything to do with that shit. They were just like, and they were using the Rage Select Discord voice chat channel to play it.
Oh, really?
And I was like, hey, no, I don't care. Just do whatever you feel like.
It's very popular, and I get it because it's such an easy thing to pick up.
Yeah,
and I think it's free on phones. Is from what I hear.
Well, apparently they were going to be making a sequel, and they recently announced that they're not. They canceled the sequel, and they said they're going to go back and basically be doing fixes and additions and stuff to the first game instead of trying to make a full-on sequel.
That's a good idea, to be honest.
Yeah, apparently
they're making so much more money than they ever thought possible.
Yeah. Yeah, they have the cat. I guess they were probably in the middle of making a sequel. And they were like, "Oh, it's really popular. Hey, everybody, we're making a second one." And they're like, "Oh no, this is so popular. We should go back and fix all the shit we fucked up in the first game.
We should just add stuff and listen to their feedback now."
Yeah,
because they didn't have all that much feedback back then. Like I said, it came out 2 years ago. Very few people knew it existed.
Yep.
Like I remember hearing the highest people played it the day it came out was like 20 people.
Yeah.
And then one day, like you said, some streamer found it, and now everybody's playing it.
Yeah. So good. I'm glad.
I'm very glad for them.
You're making good money. All right. This is an interesting story, Michael. So, you always read my screen, and I want your genuine reaction.
Fine, I will close my eyes.
No. I know the story. I will tell you, and then you can react to it, and then I will bring the screen up. So, Devil May Cry 5.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Devil May Cry 5 is getting a special edition on the new consoles.
Yes.
With Virgil and like new enemies and like new lighting and new particles and all kinds of like upgrades and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That version will not be coming out on the PC.
Really?
Yes. The PC, well, sort of. The PC will technically be getting Virgil as a playable character, but will not be getting like additional enemies, tuning, and stuff. And the reason is because all that stuff is possible because of the hard drive speed in the PlayStation 5 and the Series X.
Wow, really?
So the compatibility on the PC is not broad enough. Like, yes, if you had a 4th gen SSD, it would work, but they can't guarantee that everybody's going to have a 4th gen SSD. So the PC is apparently not getting those upgrades.
That's fucking crazy.
That is crazy, right?
Oh my God.
Like, I think this is the first time I've ever heard, like, no PC, you can't have this upgrade. You're not
good
fast enough.
That's right, PC Master Race. Fuck you is what they're saying.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
I did not expect Devil May Cry to be the one that told them to go fuck themselves, essentially.
Yeah. So
Not purposefully, but that's what they're doing.
the only thing the PC will get is the upgrade to Virgil. They're not going to be getting more enemies or ray tracing or any of that stuff. So
I love this news. I'm excited about this news. I can finally look a PC gamer in the eye and be like, I have something.
what about Devil May Cry 5? Do you have that?
Do you have the amazingness of the special edition Devil May Cry 5?
Yeah.
No? Well, go fuck yourself.
Apparently, this also happened on DMC. There was some kind of like Ultimate Edition that the PC didn't get the same upgrades
I didn't realize
for.
that.
But
I'm not going to point that one out, though.
yeah. Well, but the reasoning is the more interesting thing, right? Because it's the first time that we have seen something that may be a thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that if developers start using super goddamn fast SSDs as a way of building their game, then you can't play that game on my computer
God.
because the hard drive isn't fucking fast enough.
You wonder what this means?
What's that?
It means they have to downgrade for PC, and that's that makes me so giddy because that's just it's so poetically ironic.
Again, I think it's interesting because this is like a TV, like a 4K shift almost, except that it's not like literally there's no way to compensate for a hard drive that isn't fast enough if it relies on streaming assets from a Gen 4 SSD to the screen through the memory bus. Like the only way to make your computer do that, like you're probably going to have a few games in this upcoming generation that are literally going to be like your PC is not fast enough to run this game at any resolution.
Yeah, holy shit.
Like you can't even run it in potato mode. You just cannot run it because your hard drive's too slow.
I never even considered the implication of this.
Yeah.
I never considered that until now.
Yeah.
And it makes me so giddy. And so just like, man, I've never been so happy to be in this time frame.
Well, especially when you consider that, like, if you don't have a motherboard, like, let's see that you have a current gen, like, really, like, a hot tits machine, right? Like, if you don't have a motherboard that has a Gen 4 SSD slot on it, then you're going to, in order to get into that same thing, you're going to need a new board with a new drive. And we already know the drives are like $200+. So you'll need the $200+ SSD as well as a brand new motherboard to put it into. And at that point, you're at $500. You might as well just buy a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X.
What a time to be alive.
So, of course, all of that is predicated on the idea that PC gamers aren't willing to spend infinity dollars.
That's true.
To make their shit faster than consoles,
That's
so they can go.
That's why I'm always so frustrated by PC gamers. Like, we just make a PC game thing. Like, I barely have $400 on me at any given time. Barely, if I'm lucky.
The RTX 3090 is $1,500.
Exactly.
That video card is 3 next-gen consoles. Just the video
Just
card.
the card. Yeah.
And you need to have an i9 and the RAM and an SSD just to take it. Because otherwise, what are you going to do? You put the fastest video card in the world into your fucking shitty 486? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So
it's just the thing. I'll never fully. Where are these people's jobs? Where are they getting all this money? How do they convince their significant others that they're willing to spend this much money on something?
I don't know.
I'll never get it.
I spent like $400 on my PC doing all that hard drive and video card shit this year. And that was the first time in like 7.5 years that I cracked open my PC to do anything on it.
Yeah.
Anyway. And it'd be one thing if you bought all that shit, if you bought like a $3,000 PC to run video games, and then you just like ran video games on your $3,000 PC until like it was obsolete, and then bought another $3,000 PC. But I feel like it's like you have to spend $800 a year to keep up with the PC goddamn master race.
That's crazy. I'll never get it. I'll never understand it.
Like, I bought this new monitor, Michael. This new monitor tops out at 60 hertz. So, like, if I got a $1,500 3090, both of my monitors top out at 60 hertz.
Oh,
so they could technically only do 60 frames per second. I would need a $1,000 monitor that was able to do 120 hertz in order to take advantage of the $1,500 video card that can run 4K at 120 frames per second.
Oh, my God.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Get out of here. Get out of here with that.
Out of my fucking face.
I'll buy a car with that money. Like, what are you doing?
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so here's some more good news. Hades has sold 1 million copies
Oh, my God.
between the Switch and PC.
Good for them.
Yeah. Apparently, they sold 700,000 during early access.
Oh.
And then as of the release last week, right? Because
Yeah.
it was part of the indie showcase, they've sold 300,000 copies since then on the Switch and the PC
Good for them.
to a full fucking million copies. I'm so glad because that's great.
Good for them.
But it's not great. It's what the Fall Guys look like on the inside. Did you see this?
No. What the fuck?
I don't know if this is official or not, but it's like it was tweeted by the Fall Guys account that says official Fall Guys artwork by senior concept artist.
Oh.
This is this weird like bird skeleton with distended eyes and like wrong way legs inside of this thing. I'm pretty sure this is not like for realsy reals.
Well,
but,
it's for reals, but not for, you know what I mean? Like because they got the guy one of the concept artists to make it.
Yeah,
But it's definitely like him fucking with people.
yeah. It's nightmare fuel. It's nightmare fuel.
It's great though.
It's
I
like
love how detailed it is.
some kind of weird bird neck with the eyeballs popped out.
Well, the eyes is what makes the least amount of sense about it.
Yeah. Like the eyes have been removed from the skull and then plugged into the front of the face
They're
mask.
like lower than the mouth, which
Yeah.
makes literally no sense.
Yeah.
I love that. I love how stupid that is.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. And then let's see. We also have just a couple more things here. This is a weird story. I don't know why people continue to do this. Somebody made a Princess Peach sex game.
8 years in the making?
Yeah, and they've been working on it. It's like their fucking passion project that they've been working on for a long time, and it's basically Princess Peach fucking every enemy from the Mario franchise. And apparently it was like on a GitHub page where you could like download it and make a game out of it. And like Nintendo was like, no,
Don't do that.
fucking take that shit down. But the weirdest thing was that at the end, the guy who made this, it's like he really wants to keep making it.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, you can't just make
can't.
Princess Peach fuck. Like, that character belongs to somebody.
You can't just change the name, by the way. The whole thing has to be changed.
No. I actually went and looked at video of this because of research, and like he uses the Mario noises for like the sex noises, and like it's like Goombas with big dicks like plowing Princess Peach, and it's fucking terrible.
I brought this up off mic, but all I can think of is Ryan Reynolds just going,
but why? Yes, yeah. Well, once you get into the weird porno that's made with video game character models, there's really no end. It just goes on, and it's all weird, and I just can't get off to any of it.
I can get making like making videos and shit with it because that's just a quick thing,
Right.
It's a parody.
Sure.
You spent 8 years making a video game.
Yep.
I just
Look, the moral of this
I don't
story,
understand.
more than porno, is like, if you've ever thought, you know what, I'm going to make a better Pokemon game than Nintendo has ever made, don't fucking do it. Call it something else. Or like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to remake Battlefront 2, but I'm going to do it right this time. Don't fucking do it. Don't use other people's assets. We go back to Metal Gear. Do you know how many projects there have been to like, I'm going to remake all of Metal Gear in Unreal Engine? No, you're not. Because
there was a Facebook page for one not even that long ago.
Yeah.
I remember it was, I think the name of it was the Shadow Moses Project.
I think so.
I think was the name of it.
I think I reported on that.
Pretty sure they got shut down.
Somebody wanted to remake Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that.
You're not allowed. Yep. Just don't do it.
Pokemon Uranium and the Metroid 2.
Oh yeah, the remake of Metroid 2 that they did
with all the assets. That was a great remake. But like you can't fucking do that. Like
not supposed to do any of that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm not. I'm like, you do whatever you want to, right? That's fucking. I'm not an authority figure. I'm just a guy with a microphone. But like, don't be surprised when Konami comes a knocking when you're 10% of the way through Metal Gear and tells you got to shut that shit the fuck down.
Yeah.
All right, last but not least, this tickled me a little bit. So somebody made this generator that basically makes like, you know, at the beginning of Guilty Gear, the like seemingly almost random series of words that come up on the screen. Well, somebody made a generator that can make things. Like I just pulled it up and it said, "Raise your sword and challenge everything. Reverse ideology. Mission 1, aggress." And like you can just redo this. You know, let's see. That was a little long. Peace is a lie. Take a breath. Duel 1. There's work for the axe. Like it all seems to work. Like
it does. I kind of love this.
Yeah, he's probably going to lose, but he's going to try his best. This fight ain't big enough. Fisting first. Do it. Do it now. Like.
I love stupid generators like that.
I do too. It's pretty good. Yeah. So you can go find this online. It's called the ArcSys Generator V2. Break their spine until their children are in pain. You better go all out. Act 1, grind. And if you don't understand what we're talking about, just go watch what the beginning of any Guilty Gear
fight is
like.
It's like heaven or hell, like
right.
Shit like that.
Yeah. It seems like a random collection of nonsense words.
And it's the best.
And it's pretty fucking good. Nope. No questions. This is 2 hours and 10 minutes and no questions. I don't know what to do, y'all. Maybe, you guys let me know in the comment section. Do we just change this to a full-on no questions podcast until the news calms the fuck down? Because
I don't really know.
In December, there's got to be a week when there's not like a billion degrees of video game news happening.
Well, Game Awards is in December, so who knows?
December like 15th. No, that'll be after the Game Awards. Fuck. I don't know.
I don't know.
It seems like this is the 8th or 9th week in a row where it's just been like, we're going to talk about everything, and that's the end. So
we'll get to it eventually.
Maybe so. Go check out more from Michael at oneofus.net.
Yes.
That's the end. Also, if you know where there's an Xbox Series X that I can buy for $500, you let me know. Where
Heaven
I can
or hell.
buy $500. You better go all out. That's what I say. That's what I say at the end of every podcast. You better go all out. Grind!